Hey there, I'm Rachel.
I'm Tristan.
We're the hosts of The Nooniverse on the Fandom Limb Network. Our podcast dives into everything related to the Asian entertainment scene. Whether it's K-pop, K-dramas, boys love, our universe covers it all. We post every other Tuesday morning to dish about what we're watching, who we love, and why you should too. You can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you're interested in listening to real conversations about the Asian entertainment wave that doesn't get enough love, then you'll love The Nooniverse.
A young script doctor by the name of Joss Whedon was beginning to make a name for himself as a screenwriter in the early to mid-90s. He was hired by 20th Century Fox to write the next installment of the Alien franchise, which was to be focused around a clone of Newt, the character from Aliens. After writing 5 alternate drafts, all ending with a battle with aliens on Earth, Whedon received the news from the studio that they now wanted the film to be about Ripley once again. After retooling the plot to focus on an imperfect clone of Sigourney Weaver's character, she agreed to come aboard and do the movie, as long as she also received a producer credit and $11 million for her work. Several directors were asked to helm this movie who couldn't do it for various reasons, until finally a French director named Jean-Pierre Jeunet was approached. Side note, you'll hear us refer to him as Jean-Pierre Jeunet during this episode, but I believe it is pronounced Jeunet, so apologies to all of France from us here at License to Watch. Jeunet agreed to direct, and so the production was greenlit. Released in the US during the Thanksgiving weekend of 1997, Alien Resurrection became the least successful of the 4 original films, raking in $47.8 million in the US, but faring better internationally, taking in $161 million overall. This became the last Alien film to date to star Sigourney Weaver as Lieutenant Ripley, and is the final film in what is considered the original Alien quadrilogy. Opinions on this movie are varied, but you're only here because you want to know what we thought of it. So let's get to it. Slather yourself in a shit ton of alien goo, destroy all defunct clones of yourself, and get ready to sexually gyrate over a massive bed of slimy aliens, because we watched the 4th and final installment of the original Alien franchise of films. This is 1997's Jean-Pierre Jeunet classic, Alien Resurrection. This is a show about franchises, science fiction movie franchises. You're listening to License to Watch.
This is Ripley, last survivor of the Nostromo. Signing off.
Why in the world was this movie made?
Is this him? Is this Jean-Pierre?
This is Jean-Pierre Jeunet, yeah.
He looks kind of like more of a regular guy than I would have thought.
Right.
You thought he was going to be like wacky, like steampunk.
He didn't have tubes coming out of his
I
head.
thought at least his clothes would be a little weird, you know?
He's not wearing head-to-toe leather.
Whoa, what is that?
Yeah, so okay, we're watching Alien Resurrection, and we're watching the what's this called? The special edition? I don't know. It's from 2003, and it opens up with this opening shot of a really badly CGI'd bug that looks like an alien, and then this guy squishes it with his finger. This is very reminiscent of the movie
Parkinson's
we watched.
City of Lost Children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a little shaky. He seems a little dopey. This is very French. And he's got the bug's goo on his finger, and he starts to flick it away. He's drinking like a big gulp, it looks like.
Future 7-Eleven.
And then this is kind of where the shot kicks in, and it starts to slowly back up away from him. He definitely just looked at the camera. I saw that. And yeah, he's like looking through a straw.
This is way different.
Yeah. Because the original opening is just like alien goo kind of gyrating.
Throbbing, pulsating alien goo.
Yeah, so now he's spat the bug onto glass.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then we get the title coming up, which is like... So this is the thing about this movie, and I mean, we're getting way into it already, but the thing about this movie, I loved this movie when it came out. I loved it so much because I was kind of expecting, I was a big fan of Aliens, but I also knew Jeunet and Caro's work City of Lost Children and Delicatessen.
Yeah.
So I knew what to expect. So none of this, of course, this is way wackier than even the movie that existed when it came out. But like I knew that it was going to be kind of wacky, goofier stuff. So I wasn't alarmed by the visual style, and I really enjoyed it. Watching it now, having not seen it in a few years and having just watched the first three, I was like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, it's like such a tonal departure.
Yeah.
And this is actually a more appropriate beginning for what they did, for what they ended up making, because this beginning is saying it right out of the beginning. This is not fucking serious. We're goofy action. This is what we're doing, you know?
There's such a strange sense of humor to the whole vibe of the world of this story that's not really in the other ones.
Yeah, so we're getting right into it. I guess before we go any further, we should introduce our guest. Joining us today is a filmmaker, animator, friend of the pod. Brian Vincent Rhodes is here with us today.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for having me. This is, I don't know. I felt like I needed to say that. You guys, this is crazy.
And he brought tequila.
And I brought tequila.
Anyone who brings tequila is a friend of ours, you know.
Like nice tequila, fancy tequila, sipping tequila.
Brought tequila, man. I feel like, this is that kind of vibe. Alien 4 just got me in that mood. So this is good tequila, and I'm just glad to be here, man.
And it'll probably, this is a very enjoyable movie. I don't think drinking tequila while watching it will hurt. I think it could actually help the experience quite a bit. I think this is the kind of movie that like is good, but also if you're a little bit buzzed, better.
This movie, like in watching it again, it's got some cool moments for sure, and it's full of good ideas, and the whole like concept at its core of this movie and how it came to be is a really interesting idea to play with. But I just feel like this movie will never be generally loved by people because there are so many weird choices and like things in this movie that just do not please the human eye. You know, it's like
it's definitely like fun and inventive in like a Rube Goldberg cartoony kind of way, but not necessarily like tonally very different than the series, and also just tonally a little different from what we're used to in America, you know? So like this is very much of a piece with a lot of French movies and particularly his movies, but not something we're used to seeing here.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, here's something I really like about it as it fits into the series. So the first one is an all-time classic. The second one, the idea of the alien is very scary, right? It's a horror idea. It's a scary idea. And so now we've seen these different iterations of it. The second one, more action, more about the thrills and the suspense. The third one, a little more psychological, a little more of a different kind of horror. And at some point, if you're looking at the horror genre altogether, you're going to get to like stuff that's just gross, basically, and like stuff that's gross and makes you uncomfortable. And this is like a very
leans into the grossness.
Yeah, a sophisticated iteration of a gross out type of thing, you know, like it.
Like, look at the foreskin on that baby.
It's pretty nasty.
They went, the slime budget was there. It was so many things to this. I mean, one of it is like this franchise. I'm gonna back up. I love the idea. The first one, this franchise has cherry picked some great directors, right? And they've made their chops. I forgot how many great directors got their chops on the Alien franchise. Like, Ridley, and we got James Cameron. I love the James Cameron one because it was just so, and the way that the mom alien just hanged on to that ship and just impaled Bishop that was crazy. That was iconic. It had iconic moments.
Yeah.
This one didn't have the iconic stuff as much as I remembered. I mean, the third one was.
They all have their moments, but I mean, the second one is really the one that most of what we understand about the mythology of this, and a lot of it comes from that second one. But if you, like you said, an absolute murderer's row of talented directors.
Oh yeah,
but many of them making their. I mean, it was one of Ridley Scott's first big. It was his second movie and his first big budget movie.
Really,
it was James Cameron's kind of like he was a guy that people expected great things of, and he had made the Terminator. So he was already on the map, but Aliens was the thing that sort of put him over the top and was like, oh no, this guy's a consistent blockbuster maker. He wasn't necessarily a known commodity. And Fincher, it was his first film.
Fincher was his first. He wanted to quit the game. That's
and
crazy.
this was jumping to America for a guy who had been very successful in France. This is obviously pre-Amelie, which was his big international breakout.
So Amelie was after this.
Yeah.
I found that out last night.
I did not know that.
And then my roommate, he's like, I've never seen Amelie. And I was like, oh, Amelie's very good. And his next question after seeing only seconds of this film was like, is it gross? Like, no, it's not like that. It has nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah. So from what I read, he was gearing up, Jeunet was gearing up to do Amelie as his next movie. He had it written. And suddenly Hollywood came and knocking and they were like, hey, we're going to give you a lot of money and you're going to do an alien movie. And he was like, this is a terrible idea. He was like, she died in the last film. And they were like, yeah, did we mention we're giving you a lot of money? And he was like, okay, I shall do this thing.
Your impression is really good.
That's nice. It's very good. It's very good. No, this has so many Amelie-ish camera moves and like it. You know what it was? This was the first Alien movie that felt like a drama. This felt like a drama. It didn't feel as much as a horror to me.
Yeah, maybe like a drama with some comedy elements.
Yeah, with some comedy
and some like fun action, but like almost like the kind of silly Marvel type action,
Yeah.
like not like with the real stakes. That was the thing that I just was blown away by. This was there really isn't a lot of suspense and there is no horror. So for something that started off as like a sci-fi horror franchise and then moved into more suspenseful action-oriented stuff, this one has dropped the suspense and the horror and is just kind of goofy action and crazy sci-fi drama. You know?
I think it's funny that you compared it to a Marvel movie because I did not think about that at all when watching it. But as soon as you said that, I was like, oh yeah, it is kind of that vibe of like there's, you know, as long as you accept that you're in this world, there's a sense of humor to what these characters are doing because they accept that they're in this world.
Yeah, more guts than you'll see in any like
obviously
Marvel movie. But
yeah.
As a movie, I think this is good and entertaining and fun. But as a capper to this series, it is like, it's such a misfire. It's like...
That's valid.
It wraps up some plot lines nicely.
I was curious because you were the one with the biggest complaint, I think, in the past on this because you've told the story, I think, on several of our other Alien
that I read
podcasts.
The script.
That you read the script, you were really excited for it because this is the first one you were going to see in the theaters after loving the other ones.
Yep.
And went and was just like, oh.
From the opening like title sequence, I was like, something's wrong.
Oh no, what did they do?
Because you got to think about like every franchise, right? Like I was having this conversation. Every franchise has like a certain lexicon. Like you have to, like if you had 3 things that you had to consistently nail to make it the franchise what it is. What are those things? Like Star Wars, you need like a certain kind of cinematography. You
lightsaber,
need
at least one lightsaber.
You need those. You need those wipes, like tonally.
Oh yeah,
not just cast, right?
Right,
like
right,
tonally,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like the Aliens franchise, the alien was always, you know, it was never the alien POV, right? And this movie was the first movie in the franchise, in my opinion, that gave you the aliens POV. Like,
you
saw the aliens thinking, hanging out.
Did Fincher's? I think Fincher might have had some.
I think you're talking about a literal POV, like the camera is.
Oh yeah,
like
this is like the aliens are like a character in it.
Yeah, the aliens are a character,
yeah.
and that killed maybe what you were saying earlier. That kills the horror. That kills the suspense.
Yeah,
because you know everything now.
They're never lurking or stalking anymore.
Ever.
Now they're only chasing or like hanging out,
setting traps.
And also just like you know, we talked a little bit in Alien 3 about how Fincher had certain Finchery things with how it was shot that were very much like a Fincher movie, a little more claustrophobic, a little tighter, very controlled camera movements, a lot of low angles. And yet he was still working within the greater structure of what was, you know, we still had like certain elements that seemed very Aliens.
Totally.
And this movie is very much that kind of over the top, like you said, exaggerated camera movements, like whip pans and zooms, and like, you know, a lot of wide angle stuff. It's very like Terry Gilliam-esque in a lot of what he does, which is just, it's his style, but his style is all over this movie in a way that like totally drowns out any any alien consistency. You know?
The aliens are wetter than ever. Have we noticed this? Like, you guys were thinking about this?
A
obviously?
lot of KY.
Okay.
Just gallons of KY everywhere.
They're so
just
wet.
sweating.
I couldn't
all the
help
time.
but think about the WAP song. Just like, these are some wet ass aliens, you know?
That was a fun shot. This like the mom.
There's a
alien.
lot of cool shots. That one
isn't in the original one, is it?
No,
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
in the
Is it?
original.
Yeah.
Is it in
It's
the
in the
original?
original.
But we skipped over a scene here where they're teaching her, like, they're reteaching her English and, like, how to think and talk and whatever. Like, right here, he's like, fork, and she says fuck, which is pretty funny.
Yes.
But in the previous scene, they're, like, showing her flashcards of, like, cherries, and she says fruit. And then I'm pretty sure the last one is only in this edition, so I don't know if you guys saw it, but they show her a picture of a little blonde girl, and she gets emotional.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that.
Because it's reminding her of Newt from Aliens, and they cut that out of the
How did they
theatrical.
get the memories from her DNA? Because
Well, that's the question of this movie, right?
there's some suggestion that he says that because the aliens reproduce by gestating in the human, and because they use the alien DNA, that they think the aliens during reproduction transmit some knowledge or something like that, and that's why she knows more, or that's why she has memories or something
make it like a
that.
throwaway line, which is like that's sort of in line with some real science that we know that a lot of at least in the animal world, a lot of inherent knowledge is built into the DNA of animals, and they think that there's a certain amount of that in humans as well. That not everything we know is necessarily a learned thing; that some of it is passed along genetically. But this is obviously just taking it. They're using a throwaway line, in some real pseudoscience to be like, and we need her to be the same person.
Yeah,
we can't have her be like a caveman version of her.
Okay, is she the same person though? I say no. I say this is a different iteration of the Ripley energy.
Oh yeah, totally. No, I mean she
totally different character.
Yeah, totally different character.
Well,
and
sorry, go ahead.
No. It just this scene was particularly funny for me when I first watched it because the scene before, she's literally learning basic, like she's learning words, right? Mm-hmm. The first thing out of her mouth in this next scene is like such a complex idea, like why did you kill all of our species? Like it was like what? Like how did you
exactly?
Did you just need a nap? like what?
Good news, I've mastered language and so many other things.
It stood out to me too when they find the little laboratory with the failed Ripley clones. The one that's like still half alive knows that she needs to say "kill me." Right?
She didn't get the training. So.
Yeah, she didn't. Did they tell her like, or is that part of the inherited knowledge? Is like, I need to die, and I know how to say that I need to die.
Actually, she thought "kill me" meant something different, like save me and rehabilitate me.
Yeah, she was hungry.
She accidentally said "kill me." She thought it meant "feed me."
Yeah. Damn.
I have a lot of problems with the acid use, the acid blood in this movie. Like, so in the previous movies, it was a big thing to you can't shoot them because they have acid blood and it'll burn right through the hull.
Yep.
And they even show it in this movie when the two aliens attack the other.
One of my favorite parts is one of the more clever ideas of this movie is the two aliens murder the third alien in their cell to burn a hole in the
That was
floor.
the queen, though. I thought.
No.
That wasn't the queen?
No, those are just three randos.
Oh.
I love that scene.
See, that was not clear. This was the queen in that room, in the room before.
Yeah.
And then now we have three randos. I thought it was two randos and a queen.
Well, there's always been in my mind this question of like later on he says when they ask how many are there and he's like 12. There's 12 more. And I'm like, how does he know there's 12 more? And how does he know that some of them have been killed, some of them haven't? So how does he know that there's 12? And how do we know that there's 12? Because we've only ever seen the three in the cell.
All exposition.
Well, there's a scene where we see all of the ones that are set up for the face huggers.
Yes.
So we can count them.
We know
but
that
we have to
in
go
theory-
-1, but then we have to go plus or minus another
What
one.
I'm saying is the
because
numbers
one guy
are
still
real-
has the one
the
gestating.
numbers are real fuzzy.
Yeah, the numbers are fuzzy.
You got to like math to be
I think that's why they have that moment where he says there's 12, just because it's like, trust us. We figured it all out. There's 12. You guys don't have to do the
But the scene where the three of them are in one little cage, like, okay, first of all, what are these guys thinking? Like,
yeah, they know that their blood is acid.
yeah, and like, I think, like, what? How is the prison cell not even? It seems like it's harder to get out of Ripley's prison cell than that. Like, it's just like kind of a box. Like, why don't you just use a cardboard box, you fucking idiots?
Yeah.
But the best part is like when the aliens are talking to each other about the fact that they're gonna kill one of them to get the acid blood.
I love the expression on the one who's going to get killed's face. Like, wait, what?
It's so long.
It literally does a double take. He's like, what?
That literally was a breach. Finish. Because I feel like
I was just going to say it's a great blend of terror and Three Stooges.
It is. That's exactly my point. That was the breach of the contract that we had agreed to with aliens. That scene, in my opinion, was the first time that it literally changed the franchise, because I never thought to myself, oh, these are just like communicative. I didn't want to see them communicating. I knew they were smart, but I didn't want to see like they're
the unstoppable unknown. The more we know about how they do these things, the less scary it is.
I didn't want to see them thinking through their attack. That was just so.
I have mixed emotions about it, because like
that was a cool shot.
It does kind of take you out of the world of aliens, but I think they pulled it off. I after the scene's over, I'm still totally on board,
Yeah, well, I think you're making a great point that like the aliens are scarier when they just show up places. We don't know how they got into the ceiling vents. We don't know how they're surrounding them or doing whatever. And then all of a sudden they're on top of you, and that's scary.
Yeah.
This is showing the hows and the whys of what the aliens are doing. They have objectives, and they go through this in sort of a logical fashion, and we see a lot of it, which takes a lot of the mystery of the unknown out of them. On the other hand, it is like we've gotten a lot of that in the past, and I guess I'm not opposed to like exploring new avenues, but it's another way that this is a huge departure for the franchise. What I wonder is, let's pretend the first 3 movies never come out, and this is a standalone movie. No history, no legacy. It's just, there's these space pirates that come onto a ship, and there's this woman who's been regenerated through DNA, and there's these aliens that are dangerous. And it's just a sci-fi movie in space, like fucking Event Horizon or whatever. Like, is this...
No, it doesn't stand up.
Is this better or worse?
It doesn't stand up. It doesn't stand up. There's so much that you have to know about her character to be invested in the at least the drama or the tension that this movie presents. I mean, it does stand alone. It does stand alone.
Maybe we need a little more exposition, but would it work as an entertaining movie? And would it be better if it didn't have, because like right now it's got this, it's like almost a stain on a franchise that we all love. And would we appreciate this movie more as like a fun, silly sci-fi space adventure if that's all it had to be, and it didn't have to carry the weight of this historic franchise?
I think so. It's kind of like I said before, that like, as a movie, it's fun and entertaining enough, but as a part of this series, it kind of misses the mark. It like kind of is lacking something. I was gonna say before, my other beef with the like acid in this movie is the death of the character Christy, the like only black guy in this whole movie. His death bothers me to no end, because he's like a cool character. He's got the cool guns. And like it seems to me like he doesn't need to die in that scene. But also the thing with the acid that kills me is that the alien just like squirts him in the face.
Spits the acid. Yeah, we've never even seen that before.
We've never established that it can do that, and like it just drives me insane. It seems like they were just like, we need the alien to kill him at this point in the script. What can we do? They're on the ladder. Yeah. We'll just have him spit acid in his face. But has that been established in this series? No one will notice.
That actually bothers me more than the other leaps of science that they make.
It's like breaking a rule that we know these creatures pretty well by this point. Yeah. We know that they don't spit acid. So when you just say, this one spits acid. I mean, we also know that there's different variations on them. Like we saw in Alien 3 was a slightly different version of, is more dog-like or whatever, so who the fuck knows? But it felt like a cheat.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna get to his death, because his death was some super bullshit.
Yeah.
And how he died, and just this weird like
it's confusing
loss of muscle control he had all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly. The whole scene, and it's my favorite scene in the movie is the underwater thing, and then them climbing the thing and the shoot. Like I think that scene is great. But I can't get over the fact that at the end of it, I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? Like, why is...
his body falls in the water, and they're all just like, man. Oh, well. Like, someone could have jumped in after him. Like, he literally just had the thing attached to his
Meanwhile, foot. I love how, like, the Ron Perlman character, whatever his name is, like, shoots his guns at the alien to help out. And then as soon as he's done shooting, he just climbs up the rest of the ladder. He's like, good luck, guys.
Yeah.
See you later.
Also, it's, like, logistically impossible for him to make that shot, because he's got two guys below him. Like, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we get further into the pros and cons of this movie. Did we go around? Should we go around and kind of talk about maybe the first time we saw this, how old we were, our first thoughts, or like, we've kind of done it a little bit already.
Yeah.
Maybe Brian, do you want to start?
I mean, I remember being entertained by this movie. I didn't know who Jean-Pierre Jeunet was yet, and he became one of my favorite directors. So, like, first shout out to the legend Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Respect. I liked this movie at the time. I remember I forgot it. But then when I had to rewatch it for this, I remember so much of it. And it was just maybe I was disturbed now because of my fancy perspective at this point. But at the end of the day, I dug it. At the end of the day, I remember liking it genuinely. I was probably in like high school or something. I don't know.
Did you see it in the theater?
Had to have, yeah. Saw it in the theater. My dad are like huge sci-fi, monster, Godzilla, alien, anything that is of this other world kind of stuff. So me and my dad would like, for sure, and my sister, we would just go to anything like this. So,
where did you grow up again?
I grew up in Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Grew up in Detroit, and I think the foundation of like why I love science fiction is based in these franchises, the Alien franchise, Terminator. I mean, these are huge influences to me as a like taste and all that. So, it's easy to look back on it now and like criticize it, but at the end of the day, I remember being entertained by this for sure. So, it was respect to the Aliens franchise.
Nice. I'll quickly reiterate the story that I told on a previous episode, that I was obsessed with the Alien movies as a kid, and I was too young to see the other ones in the theater because I think Alien 3 came out in 92. I was like 7 or something. So it was like a couple years later that I discovered these movies, and I heard that they were doing another one, and I got super excited. And I found online there was this website called Drew's Scriptorama, and he somehow got like scripts for movies, and he got Alien Resurrection before it came out. And, at the time, I don't think there was I didn't know what a PDF was, so I was like, I must print this. And it was like 130 pages or something. And so I remember like asking my dad to buy more printer paper because we didn't have enough. And like it took probably all day for our printer to like do it.
Dot matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious.
And I printed it out and like got the brads that you buy. You punch the hole.
Oh yeah, brads.
Dude,
Wow.
I was official.
Do brads still exist?
Oh yeah, they've been around.
Okay.
I was just excited. It was like basically my first actual script that I ever had, and I like read it, in one sitting. And I remember the ending being like awesome. They land on Earth and they have this like whole thing with on a farm or something. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. And then finally saw the movie in the theater, and as I said before, like from the first shot, I was like, this ain't right. And and by the end of the movie, obviously they don't get to Earth, and that whole sequence doesn't happen. So I was pretty disappointed. I was like looking forward to a movie that I didn't see. This movie famously is written by Joss Whedon, who has been banished from Hollywood at this point.
This is such a Joss Whedon movie too. This actually Serenity is another one that's like tonally very similar, and that's him too, right?
Yep.
He wrote the whole series that Serenity came
Firefly.
from.
But I mean, the movie Serenity is very much like has a lot in common with this.
It's like Space Pirates.
Yeah,
again.
Space Pirates, and but it's sort of the same tone of like it's goofy, but people die. And,
Have you seen all of Firefly?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too.
I've never watched
I kind of
this
like
series.
it.
Firefly's
fun. Everyone.
You know what's funny? I saw Serenity first though, and was like, "Wow, this is awesome!" And I just wanted more of it, so that's why I watched the series.
See, I had seen some of Firefly, but never really watched it. But then saw Serenity, and then I had to go back and watch it. Yeah,
I love this scene right here when like the scientists are looking on as the egg sacs are opening up, and they're about to kill these poor people that they've chosen to be like the
purchased.
Yeah, they've purchased. Right? There's not 12 of them. There's definitely like 9 of them there. Yeah, anyway, and they show all the scientists, and I don't remember this from the original, but like he's crying. She looks like she's about to cry. And then they cut to the other guy who ends up being like the villain of the movie, and he's like smiling like right here.
That's that's another thing. Why is this one dude conscious? It was just a weird thing for me to like. I mean, you got to have that moment. I was like, cinematically, you got to have the dude that wakes up randomly during his execution, and it's like
right. You just needed to establish
you need that.
Yeah, you need that. Yeah,
they're not happy to do. They didn't volunteer.
Well,
to
there's
do
so
this.
little horror in this. That I think they needed every opportunity. Now we're into one of the most horrific scenes in the movie: Sigourney Weaver playing basketball.
Oh yeah, this is
it's rough stuff. It's
just,
I mean,
really.
Can we talk about the just kind of singular dimension of some of these characters? There's just
like just, Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman is just
aggressive,
total dick. The whole. I mean, like
meathead.
Ron Perlman is meat neck.
Yeah.
But don't worry, he gets his by the end of the movie. Oh no, wait, he lives.
No, he's somehow everything turns out fine for him. Well, he's an unrepentant asshole forever. And it works out.
He's too aggressive, but he knows he's like that. So like. I don't know. Wow. I guess there's something a little bit redeemable about the fact that he knows that he's kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I wonder how long she practiced these techniques. Like just a few of these moves. They look like she's rehearsed. She spins the ball literally on her fingertips for a second. So
I think that's a stunt double. There's the way they cut it. It's like I'm not sure that's her hand.
Her
might not be.
Yeah. Now she's tall, so you would think that maybe she had some basketball playing experience in her life. But then you see her pump fake and dribble drive, and you're just like, no, this is somebody who learned how to do this specifically to be in this movie.
No, it looks the exact same as when Kyrie does it.
This is also what I think is so weird is so Ron Perlman comes over and is a little sexually aggressive with her, and she like plays along and then kicks the crap out of him. And then the lady throws the ball at her, and then our boy from CSI decides that he's going to escalate the situation to taking a full-on barbell with like 50 pounds of weight on it and smashing it into her face. He doesn't know that she's like superhumanly strong.
Right.
He thinks he might murder her.
That should definitely kill a regular person.
You just humiliated my friend and didn't let my other friend throw a basketball in your face. So now I'm going to murder you with this barbell. This is how pirates do. You know, like this is a pirate code, man.
This is
bros before hoes. And if the hoes give you any trouble, smash them with barbells.
Smash them with the
Yeah, it's tough because Sigourney Weaver, she's not totally pulling this off, and yet I'm such a Sigourney Weaver fan that I'm still into it.
I love her. I absolutely love her. I think I love everything about her.
She's saddled with this character that's this, superhuman amnesiac, whatever, amalgamation
clone
of people, and yeah, exactly. And she does as much as you can with that, But
she does more than
it's not our Ellen Ripley, but it's some kind of Ellen Ripley.
I feel like she does more than what she was probably even asked to do.
Yeah,
like she really ran with it,
And she hit that no look basketball shot.
Yeah, that's real.
She did hit that,
which is why I noticed. Did you notice as soon as that shot goes through, they immediately cut?
Yeah,
and I suspect everyone on set just like had a big reaction. And
no, that is what happened. If you read about it, they say that Ron Perlman, and if in the special features they actually show the uncut thing, she sinks it, and he immediately is like, "Oh my God!" He like turns to the camera.
He starts running around. He pulls his shirt off and runs off the court.
That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
So they had to cut away from that.
Stay
like
in
so
character,
quick.
guys. Jesus.
They had like
all right, Sigourney, we're gonna need you to do that one more time because they broke character.
No, it was just like the Damian Lillard thing. She like was not expressing anything at all, but they all like tackled her.
Yeah, exactly. She's standing there and they're all mobbing her.
Can we talk about how? What's her name?
Winona Ryder.
Winona Ryder, the depressed robot. I mean, this is a weird character because mopey robot. She just she added so many questions to this movie that I was just like, why is she doing that? And then it's not to the very end you recognize any of it, but I don't know. What did you guys feel about her?
See, real quick. Sorry, this is where they established there's one alien in each thing.
Oh,
right.
Did not see that at all.
Yeah,
but why do they put three of them together in one of those little things? And how?
I missed.
How do they get from one?
I
to
looked
the other?
down during this part.
Yeah. It's a cool idea.
Now I kind of believe Brad Dourif like clearly wants to have sex with one of them.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely in love with these aliens. And then he somehow at the end, when the alien queen gives birth and the thing eats him, he's surprised.
Yeah.
Like I thought he wanted to be its food.
Why is he there?
This also happened so quick. Like the pirates haven't even been on the ship for like a day, and so their cargo just got face hugged, and like now these things are fully grown. I mean, I get that they're fast, but this is like, this is really fast.
Yes, it's
we don't know that it's only been a day.
Look how wet that is.
Because there is that scene where the pirate captain talks to the general, and he's like, "We want to like hang out."
These are good-looking aliens. We had said that the aliens in the second movie are probably the best looking. I think you can make a case for these just in terms of like the puppet construction and the the animatronics in it, and especially all the KY or Astroglide or whatever that is.
So much of it, it's pouring out of the mouth.
I'm seeing the alien too much to be. I'm like humanizing the alien now, and now I feel now I'm losing it.
They made it so articulated and so visible, because this is the one where you see the clearest picture of it. They're not hiding it at all because they know they finally have really good puppetry and really good costumes, so they want to show it off a lot, but that's kind of not what's scary about the thing.
There's something weird about the fact that before now, if you got like anywhere close to one of these aliens, you're dead. And now there's like a ton of intimacy with them in this movie. Like there's aliens like holding Sigourney Weaver and like walking around with her.
Well, she's different because she's one of them, and that's sort of an erotic scene,
but that's different than what we've seen in the movies prior to this. And then this scene, he's getting very close to it. Like, there's just a lot of closeness there. That we have not gotten before.
You're right though about the what's her name? Cole? Is that the character? Call. You're right about the Call character that Winona Ryder plays. It seems like she's just another goofy, quirky weirdo in this amalgamation of goofy, quirky weirdos that either have one defining quality or in some cases none. But except that we know she's not, because she's Winona Ryder at pretty much the peak of her career. She's not like, this is like,
Yeah, she had just won the Oscar, I think, or was nominated.
Really?
This is like Girl Interrupted era, and she had been an established star for like 10 years at this point. So
this scene's confusing though. So
confusing.
The robots are able to get drunk as well, or she was pretending?
She was pretending, and she just threw boxing gloves at the screen because it bounced off the screen. It was great. I
like that they left that.
I like that. That was fun.
Because this is how she gets to be alone.
But
otherwise they wouldn't have left her alone.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right. They tell her to get the fuck out.
The set design is really good too.
Oh yeah.
The set design, I would argue, is like the best thing about this.
No complaints about the special effects, the set design, the
special effects. I will complain. 3D, the 3D.
There are a couple.
We leaned too much. I think this was the age where 3D was starting to become
almost
possible.
There. Yeah.
And then we started leaning into it. And I'm not mad at it, but looking back now, the puppet, it didn't age well because of that, right? And it's not even anyone's fault. It's just like
the knife through the hand here in this
so
scene.
Bad.
It does, because there's like an anchoring problem where it wavers a little in that. So there's a few things that don't quite work.
The swimming aliens, it kind of looks cool, but it doesn't look real enough.
Yeah. It's real enough for me. I love that scene.
I like getting to see them swim
of this movie.
Yeah, I like getting to see them swim, and
I like that it's got a certain style to swimming with its hands back and its feet flapping like flippers.
And did you notice
Weaver has the exact same swimming style? Doesn't paddle at her arms at all. She just does it like the alien does.
Because I noticed that immediately, because you see her swim like that before we see the alien swim like that, and I'm like, why the fuck is she swimming like that?
I'm like, people can't swim like that. She's swimming like a dolphin.
Which means like this was a conscious choice by Sigourney or the director to tell her to swim like that.
They must have had her tethered,
and then she had to learn to swim like that.
They must have been dragging her through the water with something, because I don't think you can propel yourself like that, especially with boots on.
I don't know.
No, not with boots on.
We gotta figure this out right now. Stop the podcast.
But you're right about the Call character in that some of this stuff makes sense later on. Like, oh yeah, she's a robot, so that's why she was drinking a lot and not getting drunk and pretending to be this. But then if you actually talk about what her motivation is and the consistency of what she's trying to do, and the fact that robots, I think even in this circumstance, are still not supposed to be able to kill people, and she definitely does that in this movie, which just makes you think what is the there's a lack of consistency even when you find out the twist.
Yeah,
it still doesn't necessarily answer all your questions.
It's so late in the game when you find out the twist. You're like, oh man, I forgot. I stopped caring.
Before we get any further, we've been waiting a little too long to summarize the plot lately. We should probably do it. Yeah. So we do this thing where we summarize the plot in 2 minutes.
Matt's gonna give
just
it
so we could get it all out there.
All
right.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Go.
All right. So we start off and we see a bunch of scientists and they've cloned Ripley. She's back. They're operating on her, and they pull out a tiny little alien queen, which they are very happy about. They decide to let Sigourney Weaver's character live. They don't know what to make of it, right? So a bunch of space pirates show up, and they have a cargo that the government, I don't know what these guys are called, they are interested in purchasing. We see that it's people in cryo sleep. Eventually, the alien that they pulled, the queen that they pulled out, has grown. It's laid eggs, and now these eggs need something to latch onto. So they use these people to create the aliens. Everything is well and good for a while. The pirates are chilling, playing basketball, whatever, what have you. And of course, the aliens get out. All hell breaks loose, and Winona Ryder is in this movie. She plays a character named Call, who we learn later is a robot, but at this point we don't know. She is trying to kill Sigourney Weaver, but she doesn't do it because she sees that the alien has been taken out of her already. So then the government finds out about what she did, that she's seen Sigourney Weaver, so now they all have to die. But before they can do that, there's an outbreak on the ship. The aliens kill everyone except for our crew, which now has to find their way back to their ship to escape. On the way, they get picked off one by one. There's a cool swimming scene. We learn that Sigourney Weaver, or Ripley, is the 8th iteration of the clone process, and there's 7 of them that are misshapen and monstrous. She kills the last one, and she's very upset about this. They get to the end, and she has sex with an alien and creates a white alien that is half human, half alien. It's disgusting. It's drippy. It's also evil, and it kills a bunch of people in disgusting ways. And
is it evil? Sorry.
Yeah, wait. So then they're flying away, and they shoot a hole in the glass, and the alien gets sucked out in a very disgusting manner, and they make it to Earth, and there's more survivors than there need to be. The end.
Nicely done.
Nice.
That was actually pretty good. That
Nice.
was,
That was pretty
impressive.
good. I mean, I learned some things about that movie I didn't even know. And I watched it.
Wait,
So
I thought the white alien baby comes from the queen just being able to make her own babies.
Yeah.
The queen has a womb, and that's
Right.
by mixing with the human DNA. The queen developed a womb. So
So when Sigourney dipped down in there, that's when they consummated the thing? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. That's something Matt's got going on, and
That's what I
I'm
always
not gonna
thought.
question him.
Well, wait. A facehugger almost gets Sigourney at one point as well, right?
Yeah.
Is that part of that process, or?
We need to talk about this scene too, because this doesn't make any sense. It's a very cool scene, but this is where the
ricochet?
the soldiers, everything about this. The soldiers have gathered the crew of pirates up into the weight room or wherever, the cafeteria. I can't remember. where they are.
It bothers me. They say that it's the mess hall, and it's clearly the gym.
Yeah.
And that upsets me. That's
well,
one of the most upsetting things.
Maybe
about this
maybe
movie.
it's dual purpose. Anyways, at
But
any
why?
rate,
Why would it be dual purpose? The ship is so big.
at any rate, they have like 7 trained soldiers with rifles pointed at them, and the captain of the pirates, Michael Wincott, tells Christie he gives him the okay to shoot them because Christie's got hidden guns up his sleeve. And then the plan is for Christie to shoot all 7 of these guys before any of them get a shot off. And he almost pulls it off. And then Ron Perlman has a thermos gun that he uses to shoot the last guy. But then there's also an additional guy who for some reason has not fired his weapon and is behind them. It's all just like, this was your plan to, that one guy is just going to take out everybody, which, I mean, makes Christie a badass and makes it that much more tragic that he dies so needlessly later. But it seems like they should all have been having hidden guns.
Colin, I feel like there's something you want to say.
I'm just really enjoying the scene with the 3 aliens. The one alien's like, what? What? You're gonna do what?
Wait, what's the plan?
Nah, don't do that.
What we really need is an edition where they subtitle that scene.
Yeah, that was it.
Hey, if we bashed the little guy to death, it could bleed right through the floor.
What do you mean the little guy? You mean me?
He's littler than me. Come on now.
Wait, I'm the queen. No, I'm the queen.
Okay.
It's just weird that they know that their blood does a certain thing.
Yeah, and that they would then be in this situation and not realize that this could happen.
I like how this thing that can blast the aliens has to be kept under lock and key, like it's the nuclear launch button or something like that,
right,
where the guy can't actually hurt them. The only way he could possibly hurt them in the cell is press his button, and yet he can't do that quickly when he needs to.
No, he can't.
Also, this is so stupid that he would go in there and look like he wouldn't do that.
Yes,
they would have a guy with a big gun do it.
Did you notice this also has like a music cue that is straight out of Batman, the original Tim Burton one, where you remember when Joker pulls him off the ledge?
Yeah.
It's almost the exact same silence and then a huge music cue that's just like end of the scene when the guy gets yanked into the hole. Basically the exact same gag.
Let's talk about the cast. Especially the ones we haven't talked about already.
One of the finest casts in the history of any movie ever.
So you mentioned Michael Wincott. I'm a big fan of Michael Wincott.
Wincott's amazing.
Yeah, I hate that they kill him off, that he's the first guy to die.
Oh my God, this shoulder hair.
Oh yeah, this guy's great too.
This is my other big question here. Is that actually Dan Hidea's shoulder hair, or is that some kind of sophisticated Hollywood shoulder merkin that they gave him? Because, I mean, it is unreal. Yeah. It is like Robin Williams, but also like Silverback Gorilla all rolled into one.
Okay, I take it back. There is another black guy in this movie, and he gets the worst death of the entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot about this dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. This is
kind of corny.
Death. So this is where the they have.
See, this is too ridiculous.
Yeah, and it punches it with its. It's got hands. The aliens have hands they can use to, but it intentionally punches it with its neck. Its tongue face.
It's got hands.
Oh my God,
this
is so
Jax
boring.
from Mortal Kombat. Damn,
yeah,
bro.
Exactly. So this is Jax from Mortal Kombat. Exactly. This is so he gets frozen by the the freeze. Gas,
like nitrogen,
and slowly falls apart. Like the gun gets frozen, his hand gets frozen in the wall, and then he rips his own arm off, and it's terrible.
Okay, we were trying to talk about the cast.
Yeah, Michael Wincott.
Yeah.
So he is most famous from what? The Crow? He's the bad guy from The Crow?
No. He's most famous as Guy of Gisborne in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Guy of Gisborne.
Oh, yeah.
Why a spoon, cousin?
That's
hilarious.
I love that you know what I'll know him as.
He was also the bad guy in Metro, the Eddie Murphy movie, which I have a weird affection for.
Yeah. He's Canadian. That dude went to Juilliard, actually. He's like a legit actor.
Yep.
And that was his face was too sharp, so he can only get bad guys back then.
Right.
He has the coolest bad guy voice, too.
He does. He has a great voice.
The girl who plays his partner in this, I don't think she was ever in a movie again after this.
Does she have lines in this?
She does.
Okay. I don't remember hearing her speak.
Yeah.
She's got a couple lines when they escape, but she's one of the characters that has no personality whatsoever. She's basically her personality is his girlfriend, the captain's girlfriend.
That we see her butt in one scene. That's her personality.
Yeah, she's attractive.
Yep.
They do that. They had a Latin, like a pretty Latin girl in the last one, Alien 2 too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't. Has there ever been a black woman in Aliens franchise?
I don't think so.
A black woman? I can't even.
Maybe one of the Aliens.
Definitely not
Predators.
in 3.
Not in 3. Not in 1. Not in 2.
No, you're right.
Never been a black woman. Address that, Alien.
In the later ones, they do. Like
they do?
Prometheus and Alien
Prometheus.
Covenant definitely has 2 black women, I
Prometheus.
think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's made like a year ago, so it's like a little more current. They're probably like got their finger on the pulse of what needs to be done.
We also have Gary Jourdan.
Who is he?
He is the guy who plays Christie, the guy who played Warwick in CSI, the original show.
Okay.
I don't know him from anything else. Very handsome guy. I kind of imagine.
Which one of you said he looks like Jaden Smith's real father? That was hilarious.
That was Brian. That was totally Jaden Smith's biological father is nailing his look completely.
That is just what it is, man. It's just what it is. This slime is just. Were you guys Nickelodeon fans? Were anybody like Nickelodeon ooze?
Yeah, I got slimed once actually.
Really?
I went to Universal Studios in Florida. And on the tour, and they select one kid from the audience to get slimed.
That's like such an elite thing.
Oh yeah,
you know how many kids they pump through that thing without getting slimed, and how bad those kids want to get slimed for some reason.
I'll always remember that after I got slimed, they take you in the back, and they, there's like a shower where you can rinse off or whatever, and they give you Wild and Crazy Kids T-shirts.
How many times do they tell you don't eat it?
Yeah, it's applesauce, by the way.
That's hilarious.
But I just remember their bathroom was so skeevy, and I was kind of the mystery and the awe of Nickelodeon was stripped from me. Then I was like, this is disgusting. There's mold and shit.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I couldn't. It was too much for me. Slime is a trigger for me. Slime is
a trigger.
I can't eat. I can't do things with it. Slime and Play-Doh are triggers for me for some reason.
I was recently talking about this right before I watched this movie. Weirdly enough, which this movie obviously made me think of slime. But we were just talking about what a phenomenon it was that they somehow with entertainment and marketing turned getting slimed into this thing that you would want, you know? Who wants slime dumped on them?
You know what? You know who? Stupid kids.
Yeah, like, no, somebody's like, no, if we sell it right, every little kid in America
young
wants
Matt
that.
McGregor. That's
Slime me.
Yeah.
What do we think of this guy's death here?
Dan Hidea, he pulls a chunk of his own brain
That's when it's just, this is...
and looks at. That's kind of the over-the-top silliness that you'd expect. And so, you know, from the director of Delicatessen, I totally get this. Like, this makes perfect sense. It just is weird to see it in an Alien movie.
I just remember watching that as a 7th grader, or like however old I was when this came out, like in the theater watching him pull his brain out and thinking like, this movie sucks.
I mean, really, I never thought about this, but you could just say it's a French film. It's like you could just blame it on that.
Yeah.
And just, it is okay. This movie, this camera move took forever for me right now.
I never got to talk about my first experience watching this movie.
Oh,
you
yes,
totally
please.
skipped me.
What was your, well, I never got to.
It's that we don't care, but continue.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. But let's get us off track and bore us all to death. Go, Colin.
This better be a good story.
No, what I remember was I didn't watch it in theaters. I watched it in the year 2000. I'm like sure it was that year, because that's when I took like high school, like sophomore, like entry level theater class. And that theater class, one of the things was like either monthly or weekly assignment was like watch a movie and write a page. Right. So I was watching like a movie every week or every month or whatever. And this somehow was one of the ones I chose. And at that time, it was like this sort of like post-pubescent thing for me where I was like, oh, you know, like I've seen the Alien movies before, but like when I was little, they were kind of like scary and gross for me. And then I watched this and it's super gross and like, I guess scary, but I was like really into it because I was like, oh, like I'm no longer too young to like watch something like this. Like it's not grossing me out so much that I'm like, you know, I have to run away or whatever. And then I kind of, I was like, it was my coming of age of icky stuff.
That's hilarious.
And then like, I enjoyed it. I liked it. And, you know, obviously I went back. It made me want to go back and look at the other Alien movies. And I was like, oh, these are kind of better. But but they're a different thing, you know, like this is
a little more Colin style, I think. So like, I would be surprised if he was like, you know, I don't know, this movie's a little too goofy for me.
Yeah. I think I had the easiest time accepting it for what it was because like at that point, I don't know, because of my, you know, inherent personality, I just accept this, I guess. But also at that point, I was like not as, you know, intimately involved with the Alien movies in general. And then it got me back into them, you know, which was awesome.
Michael Wincott's death is cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense though, because I don't get like why it's like he's following this trail of breadcrumbs of weapons that are out there, and he's just like, is he collecting guns? What like is the rest of his crew is like, we got to escape to the ship, and he's like, I'm going to go down this hallway and look at these guns that are laying around.
Exactly. I did notice just now watching it that in the previous scene when they're still in the basketball court, he runs over and there's a gun on the floor and he picks it up. So it's like, maybe they should have established that he's just obsessed with guns.
He just he can never have too many guns.
Yeah.
He's also already carrying like 3 of them.
In the previous scene, Dan Hidea rolls a grenade into the escape pod because there's an alien in there. And the escape pod launches, and then he blows it up with a grenade. He rolls his grenade down like a 30-foot long hallway, and it's like a cool shot because the camera pans back with it.
Hell of a bowler.
But they also, it's like an oblong, weirdly shaped grenade, and it bounces down the hallway directly into the thing just before the door closes. He closes the door to the bay before he even sees what happens. So like he doesn't even know that it made it into the.
He does know. As soon as he decided to throw it, he knew it was going in.
He was like, visualize, actualize.
He did do a great death, though. I will give Wincott his props. His death skill is very high. Like it was a very dramatic death. Oh yeah, here we go.
Here's another scene where like we are just with the alien, like it's as a character. There's no people around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All for the surprise of, you know, we're giving up a lot of good, like, tension and horror ideas in order to get a lot of good, like, just gags. Of the alien leaning down and you get a surprise of getting shot in the face.
She just blew its head off. Where'd the acid go? Like, no one's concerned with that.
Exactly. She just crawls through its body. And
there's a thing about this movie is like it knows it has to have some violent things happen, so it almost sets them up like a trick, a gag or whatever. It's like there was something I was reading or looking at that compared it to like a Rube Goldberg machine or something like that, I think, and that's like kind of
the franchise or this movie.
This one, yeah.
I had read something where they said they told the director, like in watching dailies and stuff, they were like, you can make this movie more violent. Like you should actually. You should make it gory and violent. And he was like, okay, this is
But what about the aliens? The aliens.
The acid for blood will that not be a concern?
This story has not been told.
We should talk about some of the rest of these cast guys because there's a couple more great ones. There's Dan Hidea, of course.
Yes.
Who was the father in Clueless.
Yep. Also great in Blood Simple and was Carla's husband on Cheers. Legendary actor. Also, the guy who plays this scummy bad doctor here is a guy named J.E. Freeman, who I didn't really know from that much. But it's interesting. One thing that he's in that you guys might remember him from is he's the Dane in Miller's Crossing. The big goon who everyone's afraid of, who has kind of he's like so memorable in that role and somehow like didn't lead to a huge career for him. I also thought it was interesting that he was like kind of a Marine and actually came out when he was in the Marines. And so he got discharged for that reason. He was like HIV positive from the 80s and only died a few years ago.
Wow.
This guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, who always plays these like kind of tough talking New York kind of, characters, but definitely, was a little against type. And I don't know if he must have maybe did theater a lot more or something. He didn't have a huge film career, but he had some memorable roles in there.
Interesting.
And
the guy in the back.
The other survivor here.
Raymond.
Oh, this guy?
Raymond
I
Cruz.
love that actor. He
Raymond
is so
Cruz.
good.
Tuco Salamanca.
Tuco
Yes.
Salamanca, exactly.
Yes.
Yep.
Tuco.
That guy, he's
tight,
so
tight.
he's so good in everything he does. And he was a
also-
main character on The Closer, I
He
think,
was the
for
main
a long
character
time.
on
All right, this
Closer.
makes no sense.
Yeah.
This scene makes no sense. She pulls
Yeah, where's
it
the
out.
acid blood here?
Where's the acid blood? You about
Yeah.
to hand her? Oh, see.
It
See, there
does
should be
look
some
rather
acid blood
phallic,
there.
though.
She pulled the, what do you call it? The inner
Yeah.
inner baby, inner mouth.
Inner
She
mouth.
pulled the inner mouth out.
The tongue head.
The tongue head. And just hands it to her as if she knew she could handle it.
I love the atmosphere. It's all smoky and lit up.
Yeah.
Her expression's pretty good, but I almost wish she had a line there where she just said, like, why are you being so weird?
Can we talk a little bit about Sigourney Weaver's look in this movie? Like, she's got a distinct look in each movie. I feel like in the first one, she looks young and like natural, curly hair. Like, she looks good. Second movie, her
It's like
hair's
a hot space trucker.
Yeah, hot space trucker. Second movie, her hair's shorter, but she's got a cool like jumpsuit and Reeboks on the whole time. Looks really cool.
Yes.
Third movie, obviously buzzed head, like looks great.
Yep.
Looks good.
Wearing Kanye.
This movie,
West
she looks like she's-
burlap sack clothes, like all the prisoners.
This movie, she's looking very thin, like almost like
Gaunt.
feed her something. Like, please, feed her
Yeah,
something.
and she's got wet, disgusting looking hair.
Well, I think
and
it's-
head to toe leather the whole time.
The thinness might just be that she's like I don't know how old she is in this, but her career didn't get started until she was already at like 30 something. So when
She
this
still looks pretty good,
When this
though.
came
Wow.
out, she was probably pushing 50 at least.
She looks amazing. Oh
and
my God.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, and at a certain age, when you get in good shape, you just get thin.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you kind
That's
of just
so
get,
true.
You just get
Yeah.
roped Ripley muscle. It's like
That's so
how
true.
Madonna ended up looking like Iggy Pop later in her career. It's just like that. You got this option of being like kind of dumpy and out of shape, or kind of jacked and skinny. And she's going jacked and skinny, which is appropriate for the role.
She agreed to do this movie only if she was a co-producer, and I think she got paid like something like $11 million just to do this.
That's a bargain.
She was a co-producer on Aliens 3 too.
Yeah, I think that was the
Yeah,
same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
But
Well,
she
yeah.
got paid the most, I think, to do this movie.
Is this one? Yeah.
She
of
still
all
looks
four.
great, though.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, she's
She's
like,
Sigourney Weaver. Like, what can you say?
she has such a unique face. I love her face. She is like, I'm all into like just especially as an animator, I'm like, I like people with interesting faces.
Well, this is the interesting face movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like
every one of these characters has
Ron
an interesting
Perlman
face.
has an interesting
and
face.
Ron Perlman has the most interesting face.
Super interesting face.
There's like a specific facial expression that she does that's like mostly blank, but with her mouth like 29 to 31% open.
Yeah,
but like nothing else going on with the facial expression. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like,
and you get, like, it just looks like she's thinking about something,
Yes.
even though she's literally just standing there with her mouth hanging open.
Yeah.
Dominique Pinon, who is a French actor who is obviously was a star of Delicatessen, was in Amélie, and was in City of Lost Children, one of the big players in that movie, is here as the wheelchair guy. I can't remember his name, but he's another one with a like super cartoonishly weird face.
How come that guy didn't do Popeye, dude? That dude would have been an awesome. Somebody said that
sense.
would have been a perfect Popeye.
He looks like Popeye, and they even have him whistle the song in this movie because I think they know that he looks like
but Popeye, the Robin Williams one, that came out much before this.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we're thinking of like an alternate universe casting. I think like, why don't we?
Oh yeah,
that movie was so successful and well received. Why hasn't somebody made a new one with him as Popeye?
Especially directed by Jeunet. Like a French
that
Popeye
actually would work.
French Popeye.
Jeunet directing Popeye makes a lot more sense than Robert Altman.
Yeah,
like way more.
Yeah,
way more sense.
You got a point.
Yeah. So now I don't know where the alien is at all because there's never really like depth in these shots in terms of like I'm never seeing. You know how when you see a horror movie, you see a shot that's like
there's a lot of shadows.
It's a shadow.
Background.
It could be from someone's POV that you're just seeing lurking in. You don't get a lot of that in this movie. It's very in your face. Everything is like you're following a character.
When the aliens are there, you know it.
You know it.
Yeah.
You know
it's a lot of those like kind of wide to super wide angle lenses. It's hard to hide shit
It's
there.
hard to
you
hide
see
stuff.
everything in the background. You're seeing. This is when I think. So when I think of this movie, because I watched this in high school when it came out, and loved the aliens from when I was a kid, and had seen Alien 3. I don't think I saw the Alien 3 in the theater. I think I was too young, but I definitely made all my friends come with me to watch this in the theater, and I remember really. There's like 3 or 4 moments in this movie that I vividly remember that I think are like iconic in their own way. And one is the underwater sequence, which I think is great and the best part of this movie.
This did have they were
and
right.
the other that I think is great is this sequence where she's seeing the half-formed clone versions of herself, culminating in finding the one that's still kind of alive.
Oh, we're already there.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then just taking a flamethrower to all of it. Although honestly, if you're being humane, I don't know if burning something to death is the best way
I
to
always
do
think
it.
that too. Yeah.
Kind of not great, but
It's begging for death. You're going to give it the
You're
worst,
like,
most
you know
painful
what? I'm
death
just going to light you
possible.
on fire and leave. I hope that does the trick.
I don't know.
I mean, these things are fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pretty disturbing, but I think all the makeup effects on these creatures, like it looks really good and disturbing. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who
Yeah.
kept those
fucked
things?
up.
You know, like so there's,
Right.
there's
Yeah,
Oh my
there's
God.
somebody
somewhere.
has this in their crib, bro.
Yeah.
Like
And
like
that
for
one,
real.
it's the one with
That's-
like the human body, but the alien mouth, but like
Oh my
humanish
God.
pointy teeth.
Any one of them. You meet someone, you get to know them a little bit. They invite you over to your house. They seem really normal.
And they have that-
You finally go into a room in their
Yeah,
house
yeah,
where they have
yeah.
one of these, and you're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Why do you have a 3 foot tall baby with a reptile tail on it in a jar?
Oh, it's from Alien
It's a
Resurrection.
long story.
Yeah.
It's a prop. It's
It's a long story that
It's
will
very
not make you-
valuable.
long story that will not make you feel better about me. I mean, the ones with the hair are worse, though.
Yeah, like why wouldn't they just shave the hair off?
Maybe they can't. Maybe it grows back too
This
fast.
is the entire scene is appalling.
I was wondering what these little things are in the jars there,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
I realized for this one that's still alive, it's got an open wound in its chest. So
maybe it's been pulling things off
They
of it.
pulled something out of it, yeah. And it
They
was
were probably trying to harvest an alien out of its chest that didn't ever come out alive.
And this
Yeah,
one's
right.
got like, I mean, they go all out on just the
It's so
disgustingness of
gross.
it. It's got like weird little boobs. It's got hairy armpits. It's the whole thing is just kind of, and the half formed like penguin hand.
Yeah, like
and her
not.
teeth. She's got like half alien
Yeah,
teeth.
half alien teeth, half people teeth. Oh, the whole thing is just awful.
And there's a tube coming out of it.
But I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that Sigourney Weaver was playing this like as well, and she had to do this part in addition to this part. She's playing opposite herself.
Yeah.
What
She's a trooper,
weird
man.
What a weird experience that must have been.
Oh man.
Sigourney, can you pull your left breast out, please?
Like
I love what Winona Ryder knows exactly what to do.
Yeah,
She's like, all right, it's time.
Flamethrower?
Yeah. Winona Ryder's face in that is in that shot.
Right, like Winona Ryder was far enough away that she didn't even hear the thing say "kill me." She just literally came in and hands her a gun.
Please kill this.
Yeah. We need flamethrowers here. I prescribe 1 serving of flamethrower.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. It's probably, if you're another person like witnessing this, my personal instinct would be like, I don't think it's good for you to try to talk to that thing at all. Like, maybe just like maybe step away.
Yeah. And in fact, maybe somebody else should be doing the flamethrowing. Like, you just chill and we're gonna take care of this. We want to be there for you.
We forgot to mention that like one of the first shots of this movie is like a slow push in on like the science laboratory, and then like the container opens up and you see a very young naked Ripley like laying there, but it's like a little naked girl, and you see like a little naked vagina and stuff. Like, it's a little upsetting, right?
Weird,
it's like kind of weird.
As a father of a daughter,
exactly.
It didn't age well.
I don't want
age
to
well.
with this at all.
All right, so now we know comedy doesn't age well. Nakedness doesn't age well. Prepubescent nakedness doesn't age.
Yeah.
This movie needs more prepubescent.
Well, that's very French, though. That is very French.
This is a French movie. Let's back up.
Yeah.
They're probably still watching this in Paris, for sure.
Yeah, I think the age of consent in France is very young.
Yeah, it's still at 11 or whatever.
Now you're just taking shots at French
Countryside. This is still a
They
hit.
could drink wine at like 7 or something, right?
Yeah.
All right, so did we nail all the cast? I think so. We forgot about our boy from Exorcist 3.
Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif, yeah.
And from, of course, Dune.
Yes.
his career highlight.
David Lynch,
and
Dune.
Lord of the Rings.
One of my favorite characters hasn't even shown up yet.
Oh, yeah, Leland Orser.
I love Leland Orser.
Listen, I don't know. I couldn't even name you another movie he's in, but I feel like he's always playing a character that's just freaking the fuck out.
Yeah, no. He's in like 4 or 5 movies where his role is just like guy screaming.
A guy who's got real problems. Guy who's not handling this well.
Famously, his first one, I think, is in 7. He's the guy who
the guy
gets
with the
fucked with a knife.
strap-on.
Yeah.
The
Or
laser
he's
strap-on.
forced to fuck someone with a knife dildo thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked up. He's in something else where
He's
a
in something
screamer,
else where he
too.
does the exact same thing. I wish I could remember what it is.
I wish we had IMDb right at our
I wish somebody
fingertips.
could look this up. And, no, I actually have it right here.
You have it? Okay.
Let me see. I feel like we should play a top 4 with him. I feel like I can guess.
He was in The Bone Collector and
Oh,
Taken
yeah.
3.
Bone Collector, he definitely is a screaming victim guy.
And Taken 2.
Saving Private Ryan, he's the pilot that's freaking out.
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah.
He literally has made an entire career out of this.
Just being terrified.
Just being terrified on camera.
What's inside inside me?
Exactly what he's. Did we learn that they're like only 3 hours from Earth already?
That was another thing that just threw me off. It's like,
why are they doing this in the backyard of
space
Earth?
project that's like gotta be that must just be like in orbit, right? Like how far away could it be if it's only 3 hours?
But then they go back to space shots where you're at this nondescript planet and the spaceship is just barely making it past.
Well,
Like,
it's Jupiter.
what I was Jupiter?
Yeah, and so like me is watching this, I'm like, oh, Jupiter, they're close to Earth, but in reality, that's like millions of miles. Like it would take
it takes like years to get there for our probes that we send out. And
well, that's why I was gonna say, because we just in the scene right before this, I just now noticed that it is clearly Jupiter because they have the eye.
Mm-hmm.
But I always before this, I think because they don't reveal that they're close to Earth until after that moment, I always just thought it was a planet that looked like Jupiter or something like that.
Schmoopiter.
Schmoopiter 2.
They're orbiting the rings of Schmoopiter.
Oh, Leland Orser was in Orser was in Blind Spotting too. I haven't seen that.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what that is.
Judge.
I like that movie. That's
What's
good.
Blind Spotting?
It was the guy from Hamilton.
Is it a spoof
right?
of Train Spotting?
It was a dude
because I don't think that'd be appropriate.
No, it was a dude from Hamilton and another guy, and it's like it's like almost like a musical. It's like they wrap their way through like kind of a gentrification drama. I thought it was really good. It killed at Sundance.
That's interesting. That does sound interesting.
All right, do we want to do a top 4?
Are we there yet? I just kind of wanted to say, I go back and forth, love and hate of the look of this film, like the grain and like the structure of like just the color grade that they did. Like in certain parts, it looks really cinematic and really cool. and in other parts it's really frustrating because it's like so dumpy and brown looking, and I'm like, it just doesn't vibe with like the rest of the movies. It looks so different. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I agree
like
with
it.
you 100%.
That you love and hate it?
I think it it's just a departure. He took a shot. He took a shot.
Yeah.
And I respect it. I've looked at the original Aliens, like the Ridley Scott lighting, that single source, sort of simple, subtle lighting, not a heavy grade on it. It stands the test of time, man. The natural stuff just still looks so beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
And Cameron didn't deviate that much from it. He sort of added his own Cameronness. He's got his own idiosyncrasies, but he kept it pretty much the same. I feel like Fincher did deviate from it quite a bit.
Yeah.
I like the look of all these movies.
Yeah.
Maybe we should rank them in terms of look.
For me, Alien 1 looks like Prometheus. I thought Dennis did a pretty good job of keeping that language consistent. And they have similar lighting schemes, so like but I really loved Alien, the first Alien. Like the lighting was just so soft and beautiful, and it just, I don't know, it just worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ridley Scott knows his shit. Like a lot of his movies look like that. They just look really good.
Well, and he sold that largely on storyboards. It was a very visual thing to him even before he started shooting. He knew exactly what he wanted to look like. And I think Jeunet probably knew what he wanted it to look like too. He just wanted it to look like something very different than what this franchise is. I would have to say I love the way this looks. Again, I think like it's what we're saying with this movie in general. I think if I was judging it independently or as a Jean-Pierre Jeunet movie, it's great. Love it. 10 out of 10. As an Alien movie, it gets docked a lot of points for just not really sticking to the script at all, Yeah. And the same way that like we said that Aliens was such a great sequel, one of the reasons it's one of the greatest sequels ever is because it pays all these homages to the original where they wake up from cryo sleep and you have this, this chest bursting scene and you have like all these little payoffs that kind of are very referential and also doing it in a different way and bring some new to the table. And this does a little of that, but it's mostly just bringing new stuff. It's kind of just completely flipping this on its head. I mean, this is like, look, this is a gorgeous shot. This is a beautiful shot. But like, just because this movie looks good doesn't mean it looks good for an Alien movie, which
It
is
looks
kind
like
of
Con Air.
It does have a little bit of that Con Air look. It reminds me of like a high budget delicatessen. This is sort of the same like industrial, kind of super saturated at times and yet monochromatic.
There's a little. I thought of The Matrix as well from the same time period.
Matrix. That's a good one.
There's a great quote from Joss Whedon. I'm trying to find it. I think this is it. Yeah, when asked about. It says, screenwriter Joss Whedon was unhappy with the final product. When asked in 2005 how the film differed from the script that he had written, he responded by saying, "It wasn't a question of doing everything differently, although they changed the ending. It was mostly a matter of doing everything wrong. They said the lines mostly, but they said them all wrong. And they cast it wrong, and they designed it wrong, and they scored it wrong. They did everything wrong that they could possibly do. There's actually a fascinating lesson in filmmaking because everything that they did reflects back to the script or looks like something from the script. And people assume that if I hated it, then they'd change the script. But it wasn't so much that they changed the script, it's that they just executed it in such a ghastly fashion as to render it almost unwatchable."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tell us what you really think, Joss.
Yeah, seriously, don't hold back, buddy. I don't know that that's really
I don't agree with that.
fair.
I will agree with one thing. I think the score of this movie sucks. I hate the music.
Okay.
It's like always wrong. It's like always the wrong kind of feeling. I can't describe it, but
say I didn't. The only times I noticed it were when it was bad, which is always a bad sign.
I love the little trick they're doing in this scene where they're shining a light through some water with also changing the color of it a little bit to shine on his face so that it looks like
the wild things.
It does look like wild things. Yes.
That's a deleted scene. Actually, that was like an extra scene that I noticed.
Yeah.
It's like Christy and the other guy. What's
Tuco?
Tuco's name?
Tuco,
they're talking about. He's like, "Will your guns fire underwater?" And he says like, "Oh yeah, they're disposables." And he's like, "Oh, disposables. I've heard of that." And he's like, "Yeah, as pirates, like we tend to like use them a lot because we just like do our thing and then leave the weapons. We don't need to take them with us or whatever." And they have this whole conversation back and forth about disposable guns and how they work underwater. And like,
you know why they cut that scene?
Because you don't need it.
They're going to have another scene where Tuco needs some shit explained to him or explains a bunch of stuff in the next section where he's like, she's a robot. I've heard of this. Yeah. This is a brief history of this generation of robots. And I'm going to enthusiastically yell it.
Yeah.
I like that scene because
it's so bad.
It is painful.
There are a lot of mistakes that were made in this movie. I do agree with Joss Whedon that they didn't do everything perfectly and they made some questionable decisions. I would say that the only thing that just kills me every time I watch this is that scene where it's literally like it must be a page and a half of solid block dialogue of him just yelling.
He's just spewing it.
The
he
history,
just keeps talking.
the history of second-gen robots and all the problems and advantages with them. And
but I'm really interested in that.
Meanwhile, Winona Ryder's character is just
been
nodding.
200 years. I want to know.
She's just like, yes, this is
That's
all accurate.
cool when the alien.
Oh, I love that.
That looks
when
so
alien
cool.
Swims out of the way. The hair underwater, the explosions underwater, the aliens underwater, the swimming, all these people swimming in fully clothed looks really like cool and
Yeah.
And these two guys were what's his name? Christie has got the wheelchair guy on his back, and he can't even swim, so he's got to crawl along the grates on the floor. It's just really cool. This is excellent.
That bullet shot messed me up because I thought I was watching a slow motion shot. But then when it got to the aliens, they were moving in regular motion, and the bullet was just that slow. I'm like, damn, you couldn't see that
like
coming,
Super
bro.
Mario Brothers. It's like one of those bullets that just goes across the
Super Mario bullet.
Well, and I thought that's why I liked it, because there's no way that he ever could have hit an alien with that bullet, except for the front alien swims out of the way, and the back alien's like, oh shit.
Oh, shit.
More alien hijinks.
Damn, Chris.
Exactly.
Keep swimming in a straight line. I'm just gonna go left.
Damn.
And when the girl this is the other thing too, is like the girlfriend character, which I feel bad calling her that, but literally that is her only defining quality, is that she's the captain's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Is like sad that she's left the captain, and she has this moment where she, like, you could tell she doesn't want to go on, and then she ends up at the back of the pack and gets taken by an alien. And it's almost like they don't even want to kill off a main character unless they can be like, well, she kind of wanted it.
Right.
It's not that sad.
Well, like, I actually found it a little confusing because I almost thought she was acting like she doesn't know how to swim and won't tell them that.
And then she just died. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I thought it was just like she knew she was gonna die.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of movies. Like, all of these people, if this was real, would be amazing big wave surfers because they can hold their breath for like 10 minutes.
I tried doing the hold your breath for as long as the scene, and I got to where Ron Perlman shoots his gun, and I was like, fuck this, I'm going to die if I try to keep holding my breath. They are still going like 8 minutes later.
I love it.
All these people have knives on them all over the place. We've already seen several knives and guns. And somehow they are just, pressing against this thin membrane and can't quite bust through.
Yeah. This feels acidic, though. Doesn't this area feel acidic to you, maybe?
I think it's the steam coming off the water and the fact that there's acid-blooded monsters everywhere.
He literally blew up a monster in the water, so there's some acid in the water.
Exactly.
They could have played with that a little more, I
They
think.
didn't do that.
Yeah.
That would have been sick if someone like swims through the acid cloud and then they just start disintegrating.
Yeah, they like partially dissolve because it's like it's also dissolving.
Yeah.
It's dissolving one liquid into another, but then dissolving a human into the other liquid.
I kind of like this too, of how they get out of this situation where they've been, they've stumbled into this alien nest where they can't possibly get out of the water now. Because there's so many of these face huggers around, and as usual, Christie, the true hero of this this movie, comes up with the plan of shooting some incendiary explosives, banking them off, which we've already set up in a plant earlier, which also was dumb. But we did set up that he's good at trajectories.
This guy is a master in physics.
The setup was dumb, but it works. It makes this scene work a little better.
Yeah, this scene works.
The
great.
fact that it goes into a partially opened egg is
and it,
like
closes.
Yeah.
They should have added a gulp sound effect.
The fact that explosions beget other explosions, that's the best part of movies, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
One egg blowing up means an egg
apparently these eggs are highly
10
flammable.
feet away.
Yeah, they're made of celluloid or
they
something.
just feel the explosion across the room and just explode. Fuck
What
it,
I
let's
thought
go.
maybe is these grenades have like disperse other smaller, like they're kind of like napalm type situations. But
right,
So wait, does
we don't
Ripley
know really what they're made of.
Does Ripley bite the tail off of the face hugger?
It looked like that, or she ripped it off. They don't really show.
Yeah, she bit it off, I think.
Yeah,
Something like
wow.
Again, acid is not a thing. It's like an
Well, for
afterthought.
her, she's got acid blood.
She's
too,
got
so
acid
maybe
blood.
she's
Already
immune.
acid, so.
But that also raised a lot of questions about physiognomy.
Physiognomy is right. Physiognomy is exactly what you're talking about.
Like I picture Harris at a Q&A for this movie. He raises his hand, he's like, "Can you explain the physiognomy of this film?"
I was going to say physiology, but I think physiognomy may be what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of alien physiognomy. And then in the most predictable double cross ever, as it turns out, one of the corporate goons who in an alien movie is going to double cross everyone and fuck them over.
Well, like he was
Who would've
still
thought?
a prisoner technically.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, this guy's obviously gonna fuck us over. He's our prisoner, not like.
They also don't really fully explain like the motives of the bad guys in this movie.
Doesn't make any sense.
He says that the company doesn't exist. It was bought out by Walmart. He says.
Yeah.
Did he say Walmart?
Yeah. He's like, oh, they were bought out by Walmart, Wayland Yutani or whatever.
Makes sense to me.
That's hilarious.
So then, what are they then?
He's just a passionate scientist.
Passionate
Walmart employee.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
This is all just to train the aliens so that they could be the greeters at Walmart.
They don't need bathroom breaks. That's a big advantage.
Yeah. Hi, welcome to Walmart is replaced by.
So now
this is wild. This was one of the wilder scenes of bullet dodging.
Yeah,
and sometimes the bullets are lasers.
Okay, but he can still move his arms and legs right now.
Yeah, he can still move his arms and legs.
He still has control over but now he's starting to lose his.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah,
Maybe acid blood is like a neurotoxin.
So they don't explain that at all, but we have to just roll with that. I feel like that was a script line that was taken out, and it totally killed this whole scene.
They can spit neurotoxins now that will paralyze you.
Yeah. Well, you have to know that if you get blasted in the face with acid, you're going to lose your physiognomy.
It's a real physiognomy problem.
Maybe some of the because he got hit kind of in the side of the jowl a little bit. Maybe some of the acid burned. Maybe some of maybe some of the acid burned its way through to the brainstem or the spinal cord somehow.
And now we have a really cool shot of
the laser
Ron
bullets.
Perlman.
This was designed to be a cool shot. Then it just became Ron Perlman's shitty aim.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's not cool.
Yeah, it takes him 18 shots.
18 shots.
Shoot the alien directly in the head. Which, as Matt pointed,
love this. Though.
Oh yeah,
I love this.
When I first thought of this scene, I was like, the director was like, there has to be a spike. Like he fought for this scene. I know he fought for that scene. That was not in the script.
There's got to be something silly and fun. At
silly
the end
and fun. Yeah, to break the tension.
But,
why does the alien not lose its grip when it's like had a bullet through the brain?
And why can't he just like
dip
wiggle his foot?
toe? Yeah, his toe is like rigidly holding this alien up.
I think we at this point have established he is fully paralyzed. We don't know why.
No, he's not fully paralyzed. No,
he can undo the buckles. Yeah,
he does the buckle.
He unbuckles himself, and in fact, cuts
I'm
the
confused.
second buckle. But
what? Why can't he move his foot?
Bro.
Even if he was fully paralyzed, that would just make his foot go more slack. It seems like it would be harder to hold that alien on with your toe.
What I would like to see, because the alien like kind of explodes out of the head, so maybe some of the acid hit him in the lower body, but we don't see that. Maybe we should have seen that.
The fact that you had to go there, that wasn't. Yeah, come on, Jaden Smith, Daddy, he gone.
He seems very aware too. Like if they were gonna play that the acid is affecting him on a neurological level, like they should have had him like saliva coming out of his
eyes
mouth
rolling in the back of his head.
Exactly. Yeah. Then you kind of would buy it, I guess.
And then you have this guy who doesn't have the use of his legs. And they all just leave him there to pull himself up by his arms. They're like, good luck. Hope you make it.
They do that for the whole movie. They keep saying, fuck him.
We cannot help you. It's mostly Ron Perlman saying it, but yeah.
Don't worry. He gets his at the end, Harris.
We get this great... but does he? He gets rewarded by living. You get the great reveal. This is actually a nice moment, although it does beg the question, how did she get to the other side of this thing?
How did she get to the other side?
How?
Maybe she can swim farther through some other...
Right, she doesn't need to hold her breath.
I have no idea.
Well, maybe it's like Bishop. She crawled through a little tunnel with that weird crawling motion that the robots do.
Yeah,
she's found out a way.
I do love the use. I said it already, but I love the flashing lights and the smoke constantly in this movie.
Oh, there's one scene that's like way too much strobe light, I think. But whatever.
See that pushing on Popeye?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call him Popeye. What's his real name?
Dominique Pinon.
Popeye. So that pushing just made me feel like there was something important that was about to happen with him. But it's really nothing about like that was he had no significance in that scene.
It's just,
just
random quick pushes.
It just felt like my attention was going everywhere in this movie, like constantly. Like, where?
And they do those quick push-ins a lot, and that's just sort of the director's style.
Yeah, that's
but
his
it's
style.
funny that he wouldn't abandon that style in a movie that's generally more grounded and a little more serious.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Sigourney Weaver's nails in this movie? Have you guys noticed?
Oh, I didn't notice it.
She's got like long, pointed, green nails. So like, when did that happen in the cloning process, or like,
wow,
did they give her?
They grow that way if you've got just like a hint of alien DNA.
There was actually a cut scene where they discuss her manicurist discusses the nails problem extensively, and it's all set up for her being the one who could finally break through the membrane.
Harrison, here's your favorite scene.
Now it's Tuco explaining the various.
She's a robot. Tight.
Yeah, he's really into it.
In the old, what was it, Alien 2, in the second Alien with Cameron, or maybe no, the Cameron aliens, it was just like they would use scenes like this where some character would recite like, so you mean to tell me there's an alien out here that's a 7-foot alien that does this and that and that, you know? This was just the dude explaining
who's just like, listen, everybody.
Listen,
I know a lot about this. I built models of this robot when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know what. Oh, you know what? That's parking. Am I good with parking?
Oh, you're good.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
It's Sunday.
It's Sunday. Yeah.
I mean, we're talking to you from inside of your stereo right now.
That sound also means it's time for top 4.
Top 4.
That was perfect.
So we get a top 4 sound effect. All right. Let's do.
Would be
I wanted to
Winona
do
Ryder would be the obvious.
Well,
Ron Perlman.
We're doing Winona Ryder. I think we did. Didn't we do Ron Perlman when we did City of Lost Children?
That's
for our
might have.
Patreon.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear us do top 4 with Ron Perlman, go to our Patreon and subscribe for just $1 a month, and you can hear us cover City of Lost Children and talk about Ron Perlman's top 4.
I forgot about the Bible.
That's at patreon.com/L2W. Yes, the Bible, the digital Bible.
Digital Bible.
That's in a thick book. Yeah.
Winona Ryder is the best one, so we will do Winona Ryder first. Also, I was hoping Michael Wincott would be good, but honestly, the 4 movies for Michael Wincott, I couldn't have gotten one of them. I didn't remember that he was in a single one of them. Anyway, so we are going to do top 4 for Winona Ryder. So according to IMDb, Brian, what are one of Winona Ryder's top 4 movies?
Lucas? No, probably not. But let me think.
Good deep cut though.
That was one of my favorite movies. Winona Ryder's was Heathers? Was she in Heathers?
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
Yes, that's
Wow.
correct.
Wow. Nice work.
Was she?
Wait.
Wait.
That's it.
No,
We
no,
go
no,
one at a
no,
time.
no,
One at a time.
Let's go next.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right, I'll go. I will say. I'll say, Beetlejuice.
No.
Oh
What?
wow.
What was the one we were talking? Girl Interrupted, right? Yeah.
Oh damn.
That's one.
Wait, it is all
Just a
movies though,
college.
because
It is all movies.
she's famous for something.
All right, back to you, Ryan.
It's not exactly a movie.
Winona Ryder. Was she in one of these Hughes movies? Was she in Breakfast Club?
No,
Wrong.
I don't
All
think
right.
she's in a Hughes movie.
Was she in a Hughes?
I'm gonna say.
She's a little young.
I'm gonna say she. I think she's the girl in Mr. Deeds. Is she in that?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, she is, but
She
no,
is.
that
But
is
no,
not.
damn.
Wrong.
Damn.
All right, Colin.
I want to guess Mr. Deeds.
We're going with the hint. Well, just one more miss and we'll go to the
Mr.
hint
Deeds,
round.
I always remember, was the movie that came out either right before or right after she had her her kleptomaniac thing where she was like stealing
Shoplifting.
Yeah,
I think it was
the word.
actually just before it came out, but after it was already being promoted. And
Yeah.
she was
Yeah.
getting asked questions.
Yeah, God,
All right,
that
Colin,
was crazy.
you got a guess?
Yeah, I don't know if I do have one. I want to say Stranger Things, but you told us already that it's all movies.
Yep.
Wrong.
Is that going to be your guess?
Yes.
Or you can guess Mr. Deeds. Either way, the result is the same.
I will guess
All right,
Mr. Deeds
so
again. Maybe
now
it changed.
Now we're doing
Hit refresh.
the,
Maybe Mr. Deeds is.
Now we're doing a hint round. Okay, so your first hint is she was not in Beetlejuice, or she was in
Oh,
Beetlejuice.
I already know.
But
I already know.
all right, go
Can I
ahead.
say?
Yeah.
Edward Scissorhands.
Oh yeah.
Oh no!
All right. So do we need to give you guys
So easy.
one more hint? I'll give you this is probably going to give it away, but
wait. Before you do that, let's see if I can. We already guessed Heather's. You want? Oh, sorry.
I forgot it was there.
We guessed Heather. What have we gotten so far? Heather's was one.
Heather's, Edward Scissorhands, Girl Interrupted.
Okay, and it was not Beetlejuice. I hope it's not this movie. I don't want that to be my guess.
Oh yeah, nobody guessed this one.
Yeah. I feel like there's another big movie that she's in that's a famous one that I can't think of. Is she in? Or I might be getting her mixed up with Christina Ricci.
Common mistake.
Yeah. Fuck it. I'll say Alien Resurrection.
No.
Damn.
Wrong. Anything new to offer, or should we do another?
Casper.
That's
wrong.
Yes, Colin.
I was just guessing what Matt thought Matt's guess was.
Hint number two.
Here's hint number two.
This last movie was remade recently.
Addams Family?
Damn. Nope.
Wrong.
Remade recently.
Christina Ricci is also the Addams Family girl. Yep.
So it's not that. Okay. It's a movie she did from the 90s?
Yes, 1994.
94.
Wow.
Oh. No. So it's not a Tim Burton movie.
You know there is a Christina Ricci and Winona Ryder movie. It's not this. That's not the answer here. But
is it the mermaid one?
Mermaids with Cher. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's your hint. Is that
with
it's not
Cher?
that? Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Cher, Christina Ricci, and Winona Ryder.
I've never seen that movie, but I believe that it's
gotta be good,
excellent.
right?
Yeah.
I
firmly believe that movie is excellent.
That cast is killing it.
You
Cher?
can kind of buy both Christina
Winona
Ricci
Ryder?
and Winona Ryder being somehow like related to Cher.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It makes
Yeah.
sense. I'll elaborate on my hints a little bit. This has been remade recently, and I think it's at least the third, possibly the fourth
I know
time.
it. I know it. It's Little Women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, she was in the.
Right.
All right.
Never seen it.
So Michael Wincott is not going to work, and neither is Ron Perlman. Do we want to do?
Sort of like the idea of remaking Little Women really got big, you know.
You want to do a quick? Leland Orser round? Just because seriously, these movies are all the first movies we mentioned.
They're the ones we talked about already.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So we've already said all of these, but yeah.
Which one's the
Brian? You want to the guy who's got an alien in him who's freaking out all the
Oh
time.
fuck!
What's fucking in me?
Well, we did say Blind Spotting.
Yeah.
We did. Is that your guess?
No, my guess is going to be Taken.
Yes, sir. You got it right.
Correct.
Wow. The first one or Taken 2 he's in?
Taken. He's in Taken 1, 2, and 3.
Who? What? Who is he?
He plays like his buddy that's getting him his gigs.
The sidekick.
Okay. Okay. I remember that vaguely.
He's like the guy in National Treasure who like doesn't actually find the treasure, but is always like talking to Nicolas Cage about it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll say 7.
Yep.
What is Pearl Harbor or whatever? Is that the other one we said? Where he's a pilot?
Wrong.
Saving Private Ryan. That's what I said.
Okay, that's also wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I guessed the wrong one.
Even when you got it right, you got it wrong. Brian, back to you.
Well, we have to do.
It's got to be the one you said before.
It's Blind Spotting. It's
Nope.
such a niche movie,
Nope.
though.
Wrong.
We definitely mentioned both of these.
Bone Collector.
Yes.
Bone
Yeah,
Collector.
That was the
And
one. I was
Taken
trying to
2?
give you.
No.
Damn it.
No more Taken movies. There's one left, and I'm not going to give you a hint because you guys should know it.
We said it.
We said it. We've said it several times.
All right. We said Bone Collector. We said 7.
7. We said Taken.
It's not this, is it? It is.
Yes.
All right. Good job. That was an easy one.
Great. I mean, yeah, this is a pretty big role for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the coolest death, or like that whole scene. We didn't talk about that.
What even what does that even mean? I don't
yeah.
The whole scene is...
Ron Perlman just got choked in this scene, and then he got paralyzed, and then she grabbed his tongue to paralyze him even more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like
Just humiliating him.
the choreography is crazy.
It's kind of
This
hot.
right here. This is where the movie gets a little crazy.
Well, this is one of the other parts of this movie that I really remember from the first time I watched it, and has just stuck with me forever. Is like she just goes all full native, going back to just get with this alien. And like there's something like they're playing it like it's supposed to be very sensual. And you had that opening where it's like the throbbing alien body, which
how they
sets
built
up
that
this
whole
moment.
like alien bed that she's laying
This
in.
this shot of her in this bed of alien bodies or whatever it is,
Biomass,
such a
some sort of biomass,
yeah, some kind of physiognomy.
Yeah,
Wait, this yeah.
This is great production design. I don't even know if this is production design or effects makeup or whatever. Like whatever this is, whoever worked on this nailed this. What's going on here, and how she just sort of dissolves into it.
Yeah,
It's like weirdly sexual and gross at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Is it like sex?
I was just gonna say, yeah, just like sex.
It's just it has it all.
Because there's like a funk going on there too.
Yeah.
Oh God.
yeah. They don't talk a lot about what the smell. For all of these movies, no one ever talks about what the smell of all this is, and.
There's a shot coming up
there
where
has
she's
to be
like,
a smell.
she's hugging the alien, and I had that thought. I was like,
Yeah.
what does the alien smell like right here?
This is so intimate. Like,
Yeah.
it's just
Well, especially because the alien is carrying her to the queen. So,
she's fully nuzzling.
But that's
she's
not
nuzzling.
that's not what it looks
Can
like.
you imagine the studio executives like sitting in the theater watching the dailies, and they're just like,
So she's fucking the alien now, right? No, I'm not judging. I just want to make sure I'm clear on what's going on.
you shot this just as a gag, right? Like this isn't going in the movie.
Please tell me we don't see actual penetration.
Yeah, I feel like the end of that daily session was one where it's like everyone has a question, but no one wants to ask first. Like, no one wants to be the first to raise their hand.
Yeah.
What did you think?
So many thoughts, but this movie is turning
penis is a spike.
This movie is turning out way more French than we had anticipated.
That's what he's saying to the other exec.
And Hollywood never ever hired another Frenchman to direct anything ever.
I do remember as a kid, though, like being so excited for this movie, and that the marketing for it was not really there. It was like they made one trailer, and it was basically like a teaser trailer, and there was
didn't see anything. You just saw random.
You just saw random clips, yeah. And
but you did see the chest burster of this guy here, which is kind of a spoiler a little bit.
Oh, do you? I don't remember.
Yeah, that was like at the very end of the trailer. It was like one of the last shots.
This is one of the best of the like violence gags that they do. Is this guy's chest burster?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this movie came out around Thanksgiving time. I remember seeing it on opening night.
Although Ron Perlman's been threatening to kill Call for this entire movie.
Yeah.
Am I really supposed to believe he's going to let this guy, use her as a hostage and stand down?
Well, he makes a lot of threats. He's really aggressive, but we don't see him do that much. Even when he shot his guns,
we know he's not a good enough shot that he's just going to take the guy out.
He missed a lot of
He
times.
would need at least 14 to 18 shots to kill this man. And he would probably hit Call with a lot of those. So
this is probably my favorite hilarious scene in the movie right here.
Yeah.
It's about to happen.
This whole
This right here. This is comedy.
Now,
at its
my
best.
question is, what is actually happening here? Is the alien bursting out of his chest giving him superpowers, or does he just decide since he's being ripped to shreds by a chest alien anyways, he might as well sacrifice himself? Because he's literally running through bullets here.
Yeah.
He's controlling his body in a situation where we've seen chest bursters. They're usually people are very preoccupied when an alien bursts out of their chest. They're not doing a lot of other stuff other than screaming.
Physiogeometry, like, it just would not happen like that.
He has so much strength that he went through the bullets.
And then he's going to beat the guy to death.
I think it's some kind of adrenaline shock.
And it's all, but once again, it's all for the gag.
I hate this shot. I hate this shot so much.
This is such a classic Jean-Pierre Jeunet shot. It's
so good.
Jeunet and Fincher have that in common, that they love an impossible shot where the camera can't actually go and just making it happen.
We're talking about the shot where the camera goes down the guy's throat as he's screaming, and
we see the alien in his throat.
That was
yelling before it bursts
Alien
through.
3 when the alien burst out of her chest as she's going into a pit of lava. You remember?
Right.
Yeah, that was that shot. Same shot. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all in the services gag of he is going to put this guy's head in front of his chest, so the alien bursts through both his chest and the guy's head. Although the aliens have a tough time punching through a T-shirt, so I don't know that I buy that it immediately explodes through a human skull in addition to a chest.
I love that like every director has their different like version of what that birth death
Chest
scene
burst
can
moment,
be. Yeah.
This is all comedy. I mean, like you got it. This is all comedy. Like
It's all played for the gag.
All right, here's a question, guys. You get hired to be an extra in a film, and it's this scene, and you're one of the guys who are like covered in goo, and you're just like stuck up on the wall.
Yes, please.
For the day.
This is actually the only acting I'm qualified to do. No lines. Just sit there and look gross. I can handle that.
All right, that's lunch. Everybody leaves. You're like, guys.
Could somebody lower my papoose to the ground, or maybe put a sandwich on a stick and hold it up for me?
You gotta have so much peer pressure to use the bathroom, bro. You would feel so terrible.
They actually build it so you can go to the bathroom in there.
They're like it's just part of the set.
You have a catheter
It's just
in.
one sack below the set,
odor,
just piss.
adding to the odor of the scene.
Some lowly PA has to put the catheter in you. Do you have any experience with this? No, I'm in college.
No, I cast all the extras yesterday.
This is a
and
big
most
gulp
of them
straw.
didn't scream.
This is a straw from a big gulp, actually.
It's that one from the beginning.
Yeah.
This looks awesome.
This
So
is
now,
a
so now,
crazy
the,
good
so
set.
the alien is about to emerge. The humanoid alien hybrid is emerging from the mom.
The mother's womb. 'Cause
mother's
now it has a
womb.
womb
Yeah.
and not an egg
It has a
sac.
womb. It has a womb.
It's developed with a womb and not an egg sac.
It looks so goopy and gross.
So
and
nasty.
But I like
slimy.
how they kind of hide its face for a little bit, and then you get the big reveal of, oh my god, it's got like a skull face.
Yeah.
And it has
And
the
then the
Michael
nose.
Jackson nose.
The
which
Michael
is-
Jackson nose,
Yeah, it has the
exactly.
Michael Jackson nose, which always disturbed me.
That's what it
because-
says.
yeah, that's what
Pops
it's-
out. Shimon.
The best part is that they had to model this slightly after Sigourney Weaver. It has to look somewhat
Right.
humanoid.
It's
Yep.
probably her like bone structure. or
Bone
something,
structure, yeah.
I will say I love the look of the newborn, but it does look more like puppety than the rest. You know.
Yeah.
I love how it's like trying to not at first, but later once you get to see its eyes and it tries to express stuff with its eyes, it's like trying to walk that line between like literally the most disgusting thing you've ever seen and trying to be cute.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's actually because the nose I think is kind of gross and weird, and I'm not a huge fan of what the nose looks like.
Everything we're
because it
seeing is
very
just nasty.
Michael Jackson-y, but the eyes are like gross in a good way. Of like right here where it leans into the light a little bit, and you actually see the eyes blink beneath the skull. It's like, oh shit, that is like off-putting. You know, like that's like kind of a little too human, a little uncanny valley, and that's the good kind of disturbing. Where like the nose just kind of looks weird and gross to me. The eyes evoke something viscerally unpleasant, you know?
I read that, like right there, you never see like this area of it. The
What
front.
area is it? You're motioning to your bikini
It's like
area.
the stomach,
crotch.
bikini crotch
It
area.
has
You
a-
see
it
its
has
tummy
a-
at one point.
No, dude.
Yeah.
I've seen the toy of this thing. It has a vagina. Like
It's like a huge vagina
Huge
penis
vagina.
mixture.
Oh yeah, that's I heard
You
it was
know,
like a
fought
hermaphrodite thing.
nail
yeah.
and tooth for that to happen, and then in the end, he saw it and he was like, "This is too much even for the French." And so they never show it,
made
and
a
when they
mistake.
do, they like CGI paint it out, kind of thing.
Oh my god! Imagine looking at the puppet genitals and realizing you made a mistake.
I apologize for me and
It's a
for
little
all
girl.
of France.
For all of France.
Yeah.
But see, this is the weird thing. They never give you the child form. That's the adult
Right.
form of this creature.
Or
Everything.
or I guess this is the child form.
Yeah,
Maybe
'cause
it
it has,
grows
like-
and gets bigger.
It has like orangutan like breast, and
Yeah.
it's all already fully formed.
yeah. You're right. It does have
That's
those.
it.
Yeah.
That's pretty nasty. It eats what's his name's head.
Brad Dourif's head. Yeah.
Brad Dourif.
I wish I could remember his Dune character's name because that's what I would call him all the time.
Quiznatch,
But
Snatteratch.
No, that's not
who could
right.
remember the Dune characters' names other than Quiznax, Snatteratch?
Which is wrong. That's not the right word. But okay.
It's funny though.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, Brad Dourif's character is in that room, awake and really into all of it. That's really
Not
that makes a lot
realizing
of
that
sense.
he's clearly food.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, I'm part of the team now. No, you're a snack.
I always kind of liked in the Alien movies, like the consistency of like there only being one real survivor, like at the end of each movie. Even though Aliens, you can argue, like has like it works because it's got Newt, she survives, and Hicks, but he's sort of out of the count, and Bishop's out of the count. And then in the third movie, there's that one survivor
I
also.
think Aliens is the exception.
Aliens is
to
the
that.
exception, yeah. And I wanted there so badly to be one, maybe two survivors in this because Winona Ryder is like an A-lister. But like, it always bothered me that there were 4 survivors in this movie.
That's real.
And who they were too. Like Ron Perlman feels like his character should have died at the very least, gotten some redemption at the end, and been like
cool
had a noble, cool death. Yeah. Like a
Ron Perlman
self-sacrifice or something. The guy in the wheelchair, like, if you took a step back and said, like, oh, there's a guy in a wheelchair in this movie, like, you'd think, oh, he's definitely going to die.
Although his scene where he's alone and he sees the alien up above the grates and slowly starts putting together the weapon that he's hidden in different parts of his chair. Amazing. Yeah. Another classic moment in this. Really clever idea.
I want to take, like, just a little bit of a step back to the scene where the child thing is born. Why does the child hate its actual mother and think Sigourney Weaver is its mother?
Well, that's the whole thing. It's just, it's more human.
It associates with human.
How does it know that?
It's got a little of that Sigourney Weaver alien hatred for this entire species. It's a self-hating alien,
So that was in the DNA?
It's a mixed
I like calling
kid.
it child thing, though.
It's a mixed child
thing.
It's a mixed kid, dog. It has to choose its identity. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough. This is maybe it's an allegory that just went all over all of our heads.
It is.
I'm learning so much.
Yo, you go
Barack Obama of aliens.
You go choose the white side over the alien side. That's for sure. There's a lot more possibility in that life.
It's actually kind of inspiring. It's all about how you choose your own.
You still gotta go to college.
You still gotta go to college.
So from what I read, there were 5 different endings that Joss Whedon wrote. They all took place on Earth.
Do you know all 5 of them? Are you going to tell us all 5
No,
of them?
No.
Oh, man. I wasn't going to object.
The script had all.
I was like, let's hear them.
They just wanted this movie to end on Earth. They wanted it to finally reach Earth. This is the first Alien movie.
I like that concept of it, especially because Ripley's been out in space forever, and I know this isn't technically the same Ripley, but I like the idea that she's been trying to get back to Earth, but also couldn't do it until these aliens were taken care of. And at the end of this movie, which happens to be the 4th one in the franchise and the final one so far, hopefully forever.
Yeah,
she actually gets back to Earth. I thought that was a cool idea, even though she doesn't actually get there. I don't think that's really that important.
Well, I mean, the closing shot of this movie is that
she's heading back.
Right.
She's heading back as an alien.
Yeah, they're gonna get there.
Acid bloody hybrid. She can't. I mean, who is she dating, and what is his life?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
What's life like for her?
Right,
now?
when she meets a guy and everything and has a child,
or
is she old enough to have children? I mean, young enough.
I get the vibe that her and Winona Ryder are going to have some sort of relationship ongoing after this.
Like.
No one react.
Yeah, why?
I was just curious what kind of relationship you were envisioning. Is it like a mother-daughter thing? Is it like a mother-daughter thing with some weird touching?
Can I have alien and human woman make love to a robot woman?
Look, there's already been some like questionable relationships in this thing. Like we came out like, speculating a lot on whether or not, Sigourney Weaver had sex with one of the aliens.
Oh, this poor
and
guy.
I think having watched it now a couple of times, I think the answer is very clear that she did. At least some like dry humping. Like there's like at least some overclothes stuff. I don't know that it's
what's so wrong? Like is that even like what's so wrong with a robot and a woman with alien DNA?
I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm saying it would be an unusual ending for the movie.
I feel like that's in the end of the movie.
The thing about the Alien series, I don't know if this freak made you guys have questions. It kind of always made me did. Some people are worth killing. Some people are worth saving for impregnation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Was that ever weird to you? And then like this kid grew up already just straight up wanting to kill people. Like this kid had he's never been shot at. He's nothing. He's just killing people.
Well, that's the thing is it's an abomination. It doesn't know what it is or it has no purpose. It's just like
I love that
this
the puppet
allegory is real, bro. Like I feel like he was trying to drop some knowledge on himself.
Oh man.
It's an identity issue at this point.
I love that the puppet is rigged to like steam from every orifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, why is it cute? Why is it cute at all? It's so weird.
Because the eyes are so big. The eyes are so big.
It's definitely got like that puppy dog.
There it is.
Yeah.
They painted it out there.
The vag. Oh
man.
Oh,
baby. It's
literally one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen, and yet somehow has a scene where it's being cute.
Yeah.
They needed a scene where she like grabs its little like tit that's hanging and she starts like sucking on it.
All right.
What would that do for anyone?
I don't know that this.
Look,
this
right
I don't know that this podcast has ever gone too far, but that may be it.
So wait a minute.
It's
How does
mise
she?
en scène. Why would it be there?
She cuts herself on the blade of the alien's tooth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay,
That's-
I thought she was bleeding from earlier. Actually,
I thought
She's
she
got a
was
whole.
too.
She's got a whole plan.
I mean, say what you want about the goriness of this death, but it's clever, and it's not just like them opening the airlock and.
It is
yeah.
clever. It
Oh,
is
you're the
clever.
one. You're the one who always talks about you like pimple popping videos, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you
this
must
is
like
like
love
Dr.
this.
Pimple?
I love that shit.
Oh,
no,
my
thank you.
sister's into that. That's so,
Hard pass.
That's like
Yeah.
scarring.
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Literally and mentally.
True story. True story. My dad
Assist?
worked with a guy who was in those videos.
No,
no.
Yeah,
wow.
dude.
Which one?
Shame the guy on.
Matt
No,
knows
he was
them all.
already in
It's
it.
like I got that one on DVD.
It was like I don't know.
Yeah.
This is-
But this, I think this is like clever and disgusting all at once.
And
This is-
horrific at how it
yeah.
like screams too.
Oh,
It's like-
screaming.
Oh,
and
it's
slowly
sad.
So nasty.
and its entire body, and you can see like the skin sort of gets sucked out for a little while, but until the skin breaks,
Right.
it's like intact, and then once the skin breaks, it's basically its insides just get vacuumed out, and it is so nasty looking. Even the special effects aren't even that good, and it still is gross.
the CGI looks terrible,
The CGI
but
looks
this part
terrible.
looks
The puppet looks great,
I can't deal.
and she's sad. She's like, "Oh, I'm
Wait a
sorry,
minute.
baby."
But yet, when that thing finishes, why is she standing there? She needs to leave.
Yeah,
This thing, after this thing gets sucked out, you're gonna be in
yeah, right.
a vacuum, buddy. I don't know.
Yeah,
We're-
how do
we're
they
not-
close
They just
that
chill
up?
out in there. They should be taking this opportunity to get the fuck out, but they don't. I love how it's like intestines fall out of the front of its stomach and then get sucked back through the
in.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, because
then
its skin
now-
gets ripped off before the rest of it gets ripped out.
Yeah.
It's so nasty, and we're not even like describing it really. What
No, you can't.
'Cause you
It's-
can't.
It's indescribable.
You can't.
You have to see it for yourself. It's like if a pimple popped, but was also then sucked through an airlock with a bunch of spaghetti.
Okay, what happened there? What happened there?
That was the
The ship, the whole giant ship crash landed on Earth and exploded.
and destroyed half of Africa?
yeah, yeah, clearly.
What the fuck is that? I got a lot of questions about where Earth is at this point in the timeline because
They say it's a shithole.
yeah, Ron Perlman's character calls it a
shithole, yeah.
shithole.
And apparently they had no qualms about dropping a space station onto some random part of the Earth that would let off what looked like an apocalyptic level
That looked-
blast.
like a meteor.
Also, did anybody notice that it wasn't like, it didn't seem like it was in the right angle?
No.
It looked like it was like the angle was off on the
perspective
superimposition
was-
of the explosion,
Yeah.
which I couldn't figure out because we can see the horizon and we know that the Earth is at a certain angle, and then we see this explosion that's not, it's like off kilter.
Does the explosion occur in the atmosphere or like on impact with the ground?
I don't know, but either way, you would feel like it would be parallel, like it would spread in parallel with the surface of the Earth, which just didn't make sense.
The explosion felt too close. And
a great
here's
shot.
it makes my brain go back to Mike Fink. Shout out to Mike Fink, Mike Fink was like, if you don't have to use 3D, like use practical effects every time you can. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's just that I didn't realize it so much until like actually rewatching these and like the ones that stand the test of time. That's why Star Wars still stands the test of time. Practical. And I feel like
Yeah. And this is why we said it during the Aliens episode. Cameron had a better handle on this than I think almost any other director of knowing how far he could push the technology without going too far.
Yeah.
Like he always knew what he could get away with to make it impressive, but it also would age well. Yeah.
I think this is new. I don't remember this.
Yeah,
shot.
I didn't see
this
this.
is new. They're going to Earth now.
Yeah,
they're on
this is
Earth.
their ending.
Yeah, we definitely didn't see
This
this
is the
version.
script,
the
dude.
normal version does not have them landing.
This is what they shot.
Are they
Hey,
landing
this is
in,
exciting.
in the rubble of the ship? Or
Yeah,
is
why
this
didn't they
just
land somewhere
what-
else?
No, that's like literally that's like the World's Fair. Like
Or
this
maybe
still,
it's
it's just
just-
like shit that's been there. Oh wow.
Oh,
They're
we're
in
gonna
Earth
have to
now.
play this with dialogue later.
Oh
Subtitles. Throw the
man,
subtitles
It's too.
It's too late.
There's too much going on.
I don't know how to do it on this thing.
It's very confusing.
They definitely are going to have some kind of relationship after this, even if
Well,
they're
I
just
think
pals.
maybe this is where they're talking about how they're going to get married. She's like, listen, I hated you when I first met you, and now I'm kind of into you.
Winona Ryder only has a few. Like, there's no repair shops for her out here.
Yeah.
And
So I
like
don't know
neither
how
of
she's gonna
them.
do-
Neither of them can reproduce.
They went to Paris.
Oh yeah,
That's so great. They're in Paris.
What is?
Wow.
So is that what it looks like, or is
that's trash?
Yeah,
that's
Paris isn't doing well in the future. In this future, Paris is struggling a little bit.
There you go.
And they're going to.
All right, I see why they cut that in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see why they cut it. That had no. That,
well,
I
and
even
plus,
know what it's
we didn't
about.
hear the dialogue, but everything they were saying was just random talking about like just weird other stuff. They were like, "So, what do you eat for lunch?" Like as a robot, because I don't know what's around here. And she was like, "What do you eat for lunch?" She's a half human, half. The entire conversation was about what they were going to do for lunch. Then you see that they're in Paris.
I would enjoy that, to be honest with you.
Well, let's describe this. So, literally, for those who have not seen this, they come down to Earth, and they're just Sigourney Weaver's character, Ripley, and Call. What's the character?
Are sitting on a rock alone.
Are sitting on a rock alone. There's no other characters.
No other characters.
And just looking out in the Parisian skyline, and it's all desolated.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of activity there. It's not just a shithole. It's an unpopulated shithole.
Then you have to ask. We didn't hear the dialogue, but it's like, are they going to rebuild there? That sounds crazier.
Are they going to try to repopulate the Earth, which I don't think they can do.
They
technically,
can't do.
But I don't know that they.
An alien and a robot.
Yeah, I don't really know how that works.
So what we were seeing was like a future Paris as a ghost town.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Probably because some other person dropped a space station on it earlier.
Maybe. Yeah.
I would have loved like a Planet of the Apes ending. Like they see the Statue of Liberty, but it's like an alien. And they're like, no, you bastards.
And it would just be like among the list of things that don't make sense about this movie.
Okay, which, I don't know if you guys, this dawns on you, which destroys the urgency of this movie. Because it was already a wasteland. Why the fuck did it matter if an alien
seriously.
space station
Maybe
came
it's a good
to this place
for aliens to live.
It doesn't make any sense to me now.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, wow, they were saving what again?
Yeah, because if Paris is a ghost town, like how abandoned in general is the world? Because like the human beings that do live there are the stakes, right?
You know, I do kind of think that it's possible that, you know, Paris is a moderate climate now. Maybe this is a future where it's become uninhabitable because of climate change.
Yeah, and so now there's like everyone lives in some other city under the ocean or something.
Yeah, exactly. I think everyone just lives in Alaska or Antarctica or something like that.
Or a city built under the ocean.
Yeah.
Why won't you acknowledge that I said that?
Well,
So that's all just parallax. That's all 3D, and that's all practical right there.
Yeah.
And
I suppose the military will be sniffing around here pretty soon.
Yeah, Colin, you want to play both parts?
Bet you're not too anxious to see them. Not really. You know, a person could get pretty lost around here if they wanted to.
Oh God,
raise his eyebrows.
That's not a great line.
What do you think? Yeah, they're definitely. What should we do? They're definitely in a relationship. I don't know.
She's the guy in the relationship, though, just the way they're talking.
I'm a stranger here myself.
oh, she said that in the spaceship too.
That's it. Yes,
That's it.
It's
Yeah.
like about as good as what do you want to get to eat?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
She's
like
basically
it.
saying like
Not
we
great.
could fuck behind that bush over there.
But there is a military, and apparently they will get there soon. So
Okay,
who the fuck
yeah.
knows?
There is a military.
All right, are we ready to wrap this one up and rate
Yeah,
this
let's
bad boy?
rate this bad boy.
All right. I will jump in there and go first.
All right.
I have to say, I thought this would be, you know, pretty high on my ratings, and I was surprised how much I disliked it.
Yeah, you were talking high praise this whole time.
I really like this movie because I like this director. I like everything he's done, you know, even the stuff that maybe, you know, like very long engagement and stuff that maybe people haven't seen, Micmacs. You know, he's a weird guy who directed a lot of weird things, and I like his style, and I like this movie on that level. It's tough to watch the first three Alien movies that have enough of a consistency in theme and style, and then see this and not feel like it kind of didn't do the assignment, you know? Like kind of ignored the assignment a little too much. If the assignment's to make an Alien sequel, you sacrifice some of your personal identity to get the job done. And I feel like he didn't really do that much. He made a very different kind of movie. I do think the script is very Joss Whedon-y, which does not help because I think that is also ignoring the assignment a little bit because it's feels very much like a Joss Whedon story and not like what we're getting in the first three movies. And I think the total combination of all those things makes it the weakest of the original franchise by a lot. That said, I still think it looks amazing. I still really enjoy it. It's fun. It's kind of stupid and goofy, but I enjoy this movie, and I have a lot of, like, on its merits, I would probably only give it a 7, which is pretty high praise, but I have like a nostalgia appeal to it too, that I guess I'm going to bump it up and give it an 8 Timothy Dolphins.
Yes.
Which is high, I admit, but it's a franchise that I love, and it's an entry that I actually like a lot. And that's still probably my lowest score for any of these. I don't remember.
This is one of those
what I gave
rare Harris ratings where he like just shits on the movie and then gives it an 8.
I could have said a lot of the things I like about it too, and maybe I didn't spend enough time talking about the stuff I liked about it, but I do like a lot of this.
Yeah.
It looks incredible, and the goofy, funny stuff works. Like, a lot of the gags work. They just don't work in an Alien movie, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like this movie a lot. I almost think you should watch it first before any of the other Alien movies. That would almost be best, because then, like, whatever you're gonna have a problem with down the road, if you accept this first, then yeah, if you can get behind this idea here in this world, then you're gonna realize that you're probably gonna like what you're gonna see after this. Yeah, and then the stuff I already talked about was like basically there was a little bit of like a coming of age for me of seeing this movie, of realizing that, you know, I could watch weird and gross things and learn to appreciate them and not just be grossed out or weirded out or whatever. And then, yeah, I do think it does fit a little bit better than any of you guys think it does into the world of Aliens, just because what I talked about at the very beginning is we saw different iterations of why this is scary, and this is kind of the gross, weird version of why the concept of the aliens is scary, because it's just so foreign and different, and like, yeah. And so I think I'm gonna give it a 7. Timothy Dodd, 7.
Wow. Our guest, Brian, do you want to summarize your thoughts on this movie? Give it a rating between 1 and 10. Timothy Dolphin.
Okay, Timothy Dolphin.
Yeah.
I like that name, actually. All right. I think, I'm going to go back to what I said. Jean-Pierre Jeunet is one of my favorite directors. I get the concept of what this movie had to do coming off of the third installation, right? I get that if you want to keep going, you got to have another premise. This wasn't necessarily a bad premise. It was interesting. It made sense. With that being said, and there were a lot of interesting, exciting choices that were made. With that being said, to Harris's point, I will co-sign that I think, there is a language for franchises, and computers generated by Blue Sky Studios. Okay, I used to work. Yeah. And there's a language by franchises. Sorry, but it was a little detour. Blue Sky Studios did the visual effects. They were an animation studio that they did all the Ice Age movies, and then they were eventually bought by Disney and shut down. Shout out to Blue Sky Studios. That's how I got my start. Anyway, there's a language that you have for franchises, and I think he did. He went off of, and he took the risk, and I applaud people that take the risk. That's more of the producers, probably like a Kathleen Kennedy, to be like, look, this is Aliens, this is Star Wars, this is Aliens. We got to stick to a certain, there's a boundary, right? And I think they took the risk, but it just didn't age well for me. I think it got too comical, and I think for me, Popeye the Sailor. I think and watching the credits is so distracting.
Yeah. Did you see what I was pointing at? What?
No.
There's like an old arcade video game at one point in a scene,
yes.
And then they credited someone for creating that.
Oh wow!
And I was like, I didn't realize that that wasn't a real old arcade game, or maybe it was, and they still had to credit them or something.
Play the Alien Resurrection video game from Fox Interactive, Colin.
Wow. I have to do it now.
All right. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. Timothy Daltons.
Wow, great guys.
I can almost guarantee you Matt is going to go lower than what we've heard here so far.
I don't know. You might have to think again, Colin.
That's like, it's a 10.
I want to like this movie so bad. I think I come at it from a core level of like, I want it to be here. I just want it to be good. And as I watch it, like little by little, that gets chipped away by like certain things. I just hate the inconsistency. I hate that the alien spits acid. Why? Certain things. I love the overall look of the movie, the like camera quality look and the production design, but I kind of hate the look of Ripley in this. She just looks wet. And, and I don't like
She's
it.
got the KY jelly alien thing going on.
Literally everything in the whole movie looks wet.
Yeah, this is a wet movie.
Yeah, it is a wet movie.
It's a very moist film.
It is a moist film.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's just I hate the score. I hate the ending. I hate God, I don't know. Like, but I have to. I mean, if I'm talking positives, like I have to commend the movie for it is memorable. You know, like it does enough that it's not just like a forgettable sequel. They do enough stuff with the cloning, which is like a really inventive idea. The newborn alien is cool. Winona Ryder, I think, is fine in this. You know,
high praise for Winona Ryder. Take it easy. You know, you don't want her to think you got a crush on her or something. She's fine.
I think she's fine.
I mean, I'll give it that it differentiates itself enough that it is its own standalone thing. And I think, like I said before, had it not been the closing chapter of this series, it would have done better for itself. It's an interesting direction to take it and to make it a little more comedic and like goofy and not scary. Like that's one way to make it different, but I kind of disagree with that. I think that was a failure. I think this movie, I wish it stayed tonally with especially Alien 3 is like so bleak and dark. And then like it ends on such a sad note that like she kills herself in order to destroy these aliens. And then like we bring her back into this like goofy French world. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's not really the direction I wanted to see this series go. Having said that, like, it's an acceptable movie. It just, you know, the CGI doesn't really hold up in a lot of parts, and
you accept that it is a movie.
yeah. I accept the existence of this movie. And I wanna give this, I don't know, a 7, but I feel like there is just too many things that just annoy me about it, and for that I have to at least give it a 6 Timothy Dolphins.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't hate this movie. That's the thing, is that like it's fun.
It's a hard movie to hate. There's nothing really wrong with it except that it's not what you want it to be.
It's the inconsistencies, and it's like the breaks from what we know that make it upsetting.
She says, I'm not familiar with this place, and that's because she's in France. So it's kind of like, you know, it's like, it's so many layers that you don't even.
I'm from Earth 1,000 years ago.
She's like from Philly.
A different part of it. There's so.
Like,
well, she's also a clone. She's really from like a test tube. So
I did want to point out, I saw one of the stunt performers was Tony Snegoff, who is he's like tied in with the USC people, and I actually shot my thesis film at his house.
Wow! Weird. Shout out to Tony Snegoff.
Oh, I met that guy. Yeah, I know that. I met him. Yeah.
He's kind of a snag-off, but it's not bad if you get to know him.
He was nice.
I think it's interesting the point you made, Brian, about like that Kathleen Kennedy would not have let them get away with this shit. And it's funny how franchises have changed, because, you know, you look at Marvel and they've had falling outs with directors that are a little too, you know, obviously Edgar Wright comes to mind, who dropped off of Ant-Man, but it's not the first or last time that they had a director leave for creative differences, somebody who had their own style and wasn't willing to make the compromises to keep within the, you know, the sort of whatever it is within the company's brand identity. And that's something that Kathleen Kennedy's dealt with Star Wars. It's something that Mission Impossible has very slowly gone from auteur-driven. We talked a lot about that when we covered that franchise, to like sort of, this is what a Mission Impossible movie is. It kind of hits these beats. It looks like this. Don't deviate too much from that. And now I think we just have these franchises that there's not... One of my favorite things about this franchise and about the early Mission Impossibles was the fact that you had these different directors coming in and putting their own little stamp on it in unique ways. And I don't think we're getting that much anymore with franchises. They're becoming very uniform.
Well, you said little stamp, and I think I want to just I want to focus on that, right?
Yeah.
Because look, when you go, it's like a meal, right? Like I got this first meal, Alien 1. I loved it. I want another meal, right? You can add a little bit of seasoning to it, but I want the meal that you promised me, right? And I feel like this was such a departure. It's like one of the greatest franchises, love it or hate it, it's Fast and the Furious. Why do people come back to the Fast and the Furious? As if somebody said, hey, you know what, for F10, we're going to make it, you know, their whole thing is like family, cars doing crazy shit, and just, you know, just blast some action scenes and
impossible
stunts, right?
Yeah.
Impossible stunts, right?
People can't
So
die.
if somebody just tried to come in and take one of those or distort it in a way, you got to keep those things consistent. And I think they killed the scare of the aliens. They made the aliens like empathetic, deeply empathetic characters that you sort of now resonate with and you want to maybe live or I don't know. It's like
I wanted Roscoe's Fried Chicken, and we got Coq au vin.
Yeah,
it's like,
man. Give me what I asked for.
Not the chicken we
My
wanted.
wife is always on me about that. If you ask, she wanted a cheeseburger. If I get her anything, a McDonald's cheeseburger. If I get her a Burger King because I think it's better,
not the same,
see, I'm gonna be fried for that. She doesn't eat meat, so that's a terrible analogy. But you get what I'm saying. You got to get like there's an expectation for the franchise, so stick to it.
Brian, thank you for being our guest on this show. This is an opportunity. If you have anything you are working on, this show will come out on November 8th. So I don't know if you've got anything lined up for the old Thanksgiving fall time.
I appreciate that. I want to first thank you guys for letting me on the show. This is just awesome, and had a great time. This is super cool vibe, and I'm just grateful to be here. Right now, I got some things in that it's a little under wraps. So hopefully that
when it happens,
when it happens,
and it comes out, we'll bring you back on.
I can maybe throw that out there. But I'm grateful for this, and it was just super fun, man, just to hang out. So
that's great.
Thanks a lot, fellas.
Let me ask you this: do you have any social media, Twitter, or anything like that people can follow
you
you
at? I do a little bit of Instagram. Brian Vincent Rhodes, BRIAN. I forgot how to spell my name. BRINCENT Rhodes, RHODES, and you check me out there.
Great.
So I'm assuming that we are issuing a license for this. We don't always officially give it, but this one is a no-brainer, I think.
We had some questions, but I think ultimately we're going to hand off the license. Yeah. We're going to look quizzically at the person we're handing the license to. Yeah. Like, are you sure you're going to be responsible
with
this?
Hit a couple of cones, but none of the cutout pedestrian silhouettes, so you get the license.
The license to watch this particular movie is covered in slime.
Right. So
I hope it's slime.
Well, Brian, you're here on a special day because since it's the last movie of the series, we get to officially announce our next series that we're covering, which is a Colin's choice. Colin, do you want to tee this up and give a little reveal?
Imagine a world where there are vampires. And those
Twilight series, guys. I'm sorry. I apologize to our fans in advance. No, just kidding.
It's not. No, I would have done this in a more. I'm going with like more of a movie trailer voice.
Is that what you're going for?
If it was Twilight, it'd be more sexy. And
it's the same voice.
Imagine a world.
But when he does the Twilight voice, he's making a jack-off motion with his hands.
Oh, I forgot it's audio only. Okay. What if like there was a vampire who was not all the way vampire and he was like half human and he like needed to help protect people from the bad vampires?
One of the greatest first beginning franchises.
What if he was played by Wesley Snipes?
So good if it's played by Wesley Snipes.
Bro, I've
Blade.
told so many people to watch the first Blade. Like I can't even tell you how many people I've told to watch. I mean, great choice. Great choice.
It's gonna be a blast.
Great choice.
I think we're all pretty excited to tackle Blade. I've only seen the first two. I've never seen the third one.
Yeah, I've never seen the third one.
I don't know.
You're just denying yourself Ryan Reynolds' genius.
If you're
Ryan Reynolds.
If you don't like Blade, you're a little too cold-blooded.
I've seen it. Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying.
It's funny.
You guys missed my joke.
No, I heard.
Oh, Eric's got it.
That's why I'm kind of smiling sadly.
I realize I haven't done a pun this whole time, and I'm like,
you really dropped the ball.
I'm actually feeling very insecure about it.
All right. Well, I think we nailed it. Anything else? Any closing thoughts? Any closing arguments?
That's it for me. Aliens. I mean, it's a hell of a series, and we'll wrap it up on our wrap-up episode, which is coming up, in a couple days.
Correct.
Great.
And not just a few minutes from now.
All right, how should we close out, guys? This is Ripley signing off. We've done that.
The last survivor of the
I'm a stranger here myself.
I'm a stranger
here myself.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Physiognomy is
the
physiognomy. There's physiognomy everywhere. This movie's got so much physiognomy.
T-shirts
in it.
now.
This
It's
is the problem.
physiognomy.
Yeah, this is.
Let me feel your physiognomy. That's the T-shirt. No, thanks a lot, guys. It was a good time, man.
All right. Till next time. Thank you all for listening, and please, once again, remember to rate, review, and subscribe if you like this show. Tell your friends about us, tell your family about us, tell strangers on the street about us. Thank you to our guest, Brian Vincent Rhodes, and as always, thank you to Chris Morocco, aka C-Rock, for providing his music to the show. Check out his new EP, Alien, which he did exclusively for this show on Bandcamp now. Remember, if you like this show and you want to hear even more exclusive content from us, we do have a Patreon. For only $1 a month, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/L2W. While there, you get instant access to a ton of different shows where we cover movies that are non-franchise classics. It's really worth it. It's only $1. Please don't cheap out on us. Help support us by joining. Your dollar helps us create this show. It costs money. We have to travel to each other's homes to record. We need to buy equipment. We have to entice guests with sacks of money with dollar signs on them. So again, that's patreon.com/L2W for License to Watch. This show is a part of the Fandom Limb Podcast Network, so please be sure to check out some of their awesome shows. And join us next time for our Alien series wrap-up episode. Woo!
Frontier in about 6 weeks. With a little luck, the network will pick me up. This is Ripley, last survivor of the Nostromo, signing off.